All right, guys, what's going on? You already know what it is. It's Saturday, which means we're back with another debate. We are here today talking about the top 10 greatest NXT Takeover matches of all time. Takeover will be happening again in a couple weeks from now, but we're going to do it before then because we got to go through that Takeover too. So today I'm going to let my guests introduce themselves. One of the guys who's been here every week for the debates, the co-host, and the other guy has been on the channel before but never been on debate. So I'm gonna let Steve introduce himself first, and then we'll go for Conrad, and then we'll get into this magical list.
Hey everybody, it's Steve. Follow me find me on YouTube, youtube.com/user/complete08, on Twitter at the Rambo_WB. Looking forward to being part of this and making a list or top whatever list here for NXT takeovers, because every NXT takeover, at least you hear from the fans, has always beaten the main roster pay-per-views. Now it's just a battle of the matches within those NXT takeover shows of what we think is the creme de la creme.
And what's going on, everybody? I am Conrad Cushman, the host of EPW, which is Everything Pro Wrestling. Everything Pro Wrestling is a show by the fans, for the fans. And I do podcasts, I do YouTubes. I did a review last night for Ring of Honor 17th anniversary show. And on my podcast, I just did an interview with Marty the Moth Martinez from Lucha Underground. So we're trying to do some big things. Check out the content and stuff.
All right, so last night, for everybody's watching, I went through every takeover. Every takeover, wrote down the matches that I thought stood out that need to be mentioned. Excuse me, they could be on the top 10. There's only two takeovers that I didn't write on here. It was NXT Takeover London and NXT Takeover The End. Those are the only two takeovers we're not going to cover, unless one of those two guys want to throw out a match they think sticks out for that pay-per-view. But other than that, we're going through every other takeover besides those two. Every other takeover besides those two, we're going through. I mean, I forgot how great takeover really was. Like, there's so many good matches on here that we're gonna have to mention. There's only 10 that can make the list. It's gonna be so hard. Like, it's gonna probably be the hardest that we've ever gone through. So let's jump right into it. Let's talk about the first takeover, NXT Takeover Arrival. Before it was called Takeover, it was called NXT Takeover Arrival. I wrote down two matches from that show that I thought stood out that should be mentioned. The first match we're getting into is Sami Zayn versus Cesaro. This was all the way back in like 2014, I think it was, like the first takeover. So, what do you guys think about this match? Sami Zayn and Cesaro. Does it need to be on the list? What do you guys think? What's up with Conrad?
Sami Zayn and Cesaro is a tough match, dude. I think they had a really good match. I don't know if it was on NXT. Was it on Hulu at that point? I'm showing my age now. I think it was on Hulu.
I can't remember, man. I can't really remember, to be honest.
Do you know the match I'm talking about? But this match is a classic. I don't know if it was this one or the first one. Like, you start mixing the matches together because you see a lot of similar stuff in it.
Yeah.
But dude, I remember Cesaro catching Sami Zayn at one point with his fingertips, and he barely had the dude. And he's running around with someone who he almost just dropped. He's like, "No, I got you." And he tosses him up, and I've never seen someone pop up so high from something that I'm like, how did he jump up that high? And he eats that European uppercut, dude. I love the match. The dive through the bottom ring post area into the tornado DDT. It's got to be at least.
How about the sunset flip to that powerbomb like that when he had him like that and he flipped sunset flip to that powerbomb, dude? Oh my god, I lost my mind. I was like,
dude, so good. Sami Zayn is also like that character that you absolutely love. I used to call him the Rey Mysterio of NXT back then. Like, he could get such sympathy from me from his bumps and how he was just looking like, oh, I'm hurt so bad. I don't know if I can do this. Or he'd have the glazed look in his eyes. You're like, come on, Sammy, fight back. He's just sitting there like, I can't. And he's just taking moves. He would just lose so well that you just love him. Yeah. I miss that Sammy a little bit now. Now that I think about it,
Sami Zayn was like Sami Zayn at the time was like Daniel Bryan in NXT. When Daniel Bryan was super over, he was like that in NXT. He was like the heroic hero that everybody wanted to win, but he was always just getting hurt and everything. He felt bad for him.
Yeah. Real good stuff, though. I say it has to at least be a consideration. I think it would be on mine, but it has to be a consideration at least.
Yeah, I have to say the same in regards to consideration, then automatically be on there because there's another match from this Arrival show for me personally that I would put above it, at least as of right now, just in regards to just looking at the NXT Arrival card without even moving forward to the other shows that we're going to talk about here at the NXT takeovers, but specifically in regards to Sami Zayn and Antonio Cesaro at the time, now just Cesaro, definitely deserves to be definitely on the back burner. Talk about it, at least for me as well, because I don't think with the other matches that I have in my head and on my own list in my head, stacking up against those other NXT takeover matches, it right now on my own personal list it wouldn't make it. But even in our general conversation, I think right now it should be on. We'll wait and see for Sami Zayn and Cesaro, because, like I said, there's another match from this event for me that I would say I hold in higher regard as the match of the night for that show, let alone on the ranking for me for overall NXT Takeover matches.
All right, well, maybe this is the other match because I only have one other match on this card. It was the main event match. So the other match on the show that I have written down is Bo Dallas versus Neville. It was Adrian Neville at the time, the ladder match for the NXT Takeover Championship at the time. What do you guys think about this match?
Who do you want to? Do you want me to start it again?
Whoever wants to go first here.
You know what, Steve? I'll let you go first, man. Because is this your match that you're referring to?
Actually, no. I'd say that I didn't like it, but it's not the match. It versus Emma for crowning the inaugural NXT Women's Champion.
Okay.
The NXT Women's Championship, Paige winning, and but the match itself, I think, is deserving of being on the list. So I'll just put it that way. That's my match. Bo Dallas Neville match was not.
So you liked Paige versus who was it? Paige versus Emma.
Paige versus Emma for the NXT Women's Championship. That's what I have for personally.
Let's talk about that match then. So what do you guys think about that? Well, Steve, you go into the first, and Conrad, you can go into that
match. Yeah, I think so. The biggest thing is that it was kind of the inaugural champion. I think maybe that might be clouding it for me, and I'm okay. Someone say that, but just the match itself and back and forth, and Emma a couple of times getting those near pinfalls and thinking, Emma's going to be the first champion. And I remember at the time watching it live when it was shown to the Rival show that, which one would I rather have had the champion? And while the match was going on in the back and forth, but I'm okay with Emma Page the champion first. Paige might need to prove a little bit more to me again at the time. Higher on Emma, fandom in that point. And then Paige winning it, kind of actually surprising me and getting the win, becoming NXT Women's Champion. In the moment and afterwards as well. I think all of that encompassing, if I'm being honest with myself, is the reason why I put that match as the match of the night and the number one match for the NXT Arrival show. And as I said earlier, a match that I even have above Zayn and Cesaro.
That's tough. I'm going to say this about that women's match. That was probably one of the first matches to where I started realizing that I should take women's wrestling a little bit more serious. Like, it started getting the wheels churning. I really, really liked Paige back then. I thought Paige, when she had her grunge rock music, and I know that Malik does a lot of those like trivia videos about the music, and how important is it to remember like some of the past music that people had in NXT? Because Emma used to have the bubble theme and doing all this stuff. I really have fond memories of all that stuff. But I love that she debuted the PTO in this match. That was something else memorable when it came down to it. Yeah, phenomenal job, though, for that match. I don't know if it's top 10. That would be in consideration for me once I look at everything else. But I don't think it's making the list with how many great matches that we have to talk about with the Paige and Emma. I like it, but I don't know if that would be on my list. And are you going back to that ladder match, Malik, you said?
Yeah, we can. I'm with I like the Paige and Emma match, but I think this is the same as Cesaro match is better. Just for me. I think that was the best match on the card. So that's how I feel about it. Bo Dallas and Neville, though, personally wouldn't make my list, but I thought this deserved to mention because it was a great match. It was a good ladder match. But what do you guys think about this match?
You want it first, Steve, or me?
I'll go first. The only reason that for me it didn't make it as my other match and my Paige and Emma was above it for me was because it just, I guess, with the superstars, or specifically Bo Dallas. I mean, even though at the time or for him to be in the NXT Championship match there against Neville, that I just didn't feel that it delivered the way that I thought it would heading into the match. Thinking who would have been a better person for Neville to be facing then, and not speaking of how Bo is now, but just even at that time, I think for me, as good as ladder matches are in all ladder matches or matches like that in NXT, let alone in the main roster for WWE are good. I think here at NXT Arrival, Bo Dallas and Neville just didn't do it for me. I guess is plain and simple.
Malik, I'm not gonna lie. I thought this ladder match was okay, but I thought it was a little bit weak compared to the rest of the card. Not saying weak, but I would put the Emma Page match over this match, in my opinion. I'm sure Steve feels the same way about that, but Bo Dallas was a great character, but in ring, I never really enjoyed watching Bo Dallas. Remember when they first tried to push him? He was the baby face when he was in the Royal Rumble and everything else. They were really trying to put him down. And I thought Bo Dallas's character back then was much better because that's the actual character, in my opinion, that John Cena should have always been. If you were going to keep him a baby face, well, a heel, he's getting heel reactions, but acting like a baby face. Bo Dallas played it off perfectly. Like fans would be booing Bo Dallas, and he's like, they're not booing me. They're saying Bo. Bo. And then I think what they were chanting one time, like, please go, Bo, and or please don't go. He would always change up the words that they were saying. He was like, yes, I'm going to Bolivia after they named their country after me, and there's a Bo Dallas Day out there, and he would disappear from TV. I thought he was a great character to hold on to the belt, and he was one of the first misused. But I didn't think the ladder match was that great. Neville impressed me in it, and it was a showcase for him, but I didn't like the match enough to put it in top 10. Good match, just not top 10.
All right, so I wrote down Sami Zayn, Cesaro, and Paige and Emma just because of the two that mentioned. So we'll come back to those. Let's talk about the next takeover, the first NXT Takeover show, the official NXT Takeover show. I have 3 matches from that show that I wrote down. Yeah, I think deserve mentions. The first one we'll get into with Tyler Breeze versus Sami Zayn. I really like this match. I don't think it would be on my top 10, but I really like the match.
Now, which takeover are we on? Is that the
first takeover? The first takeover, the first NXT Takeover. This is the first one that was called Takeover.
Oh, because the other one was Arrival. I'm sorry. Yes.
This is the first one called Takeover. So this is with Tyler Breeze versus Sami Zayn. I really like this match. Like I said, I wouldn't make my list, but I thought I had to put it down for a mention because it was really good. It's like I said, Sami Zayn back then was like on a different level. Like he was like really, really like, I don't know. I just felt like I just saw like I feel like he was really like the like NXT Daniel Bryan. Like I just felt like he was really NXT Daniel Bryan. Like he was really good in the ring. Fans really got behind him. People loved him. He was always doing like the heroic stuff. He was always going out there and doing the crazy stuff in the matches. And he was I think he was always the one guy that you just couldn't root against. Like there was for a while there, I don't think I rooted against Sami Zayn. Probably NXT, probably like Nakamura or somebody new. So it was like for a while, I always rooted for Sami Zayn to win because he was always really, really good. So what do you guys think about this match?
I guess I'll tackle it first. I absolutely love Sami Zayn versus Tyler Breeze. I thought that these were the two workhorses that I said once these guys go to the main roster, they gotta shine, man. You can't deny these two. I thought Cream would rise to the top. Apparently, I was wrong. But I always thought that Tyler Breeze was a great heel. I think he's someone who has been highly underutilized. Love the character. When he finally did the supermodel gimmick, it all made sense. And yeah, this is a good match. I don't know if it's top 10 though. I'm trying to. Do you remember what the finish was to it?
No, I think it was.
I know Breeze wins, but I don't remember how.
I think it was with that finisher that he had, whatever it was called.
The not supermodel kick, the beauty shot.
Beauty shot, yeah.
Beauty shot, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if it's top 10 though, just because it's not in my memory enough. That's for me though.
I think that's the issue in regards to these first few, or in the NXT shows, NXT Takeover shows, of how great they have become even more so in their matches as closer and closer to now, to current. That maybe some of these matches won't be making this collective top 10 because of they're so far back, and all of us or even other people even that are watching will have to be like, oh, that match, and have to rewatch it to even remember how good it was, or whatever their opinion is on the match. My opinion is I think this one should be on there, or should be on the top 10, and would be on my own personal top 10 for best NXT Takeover shows of all time. I think Tyler Breeze, as Connor was even talking about, of this making his mark and showing out. I thought Tyler Breeze was going to be something on the main roster. Maybe I don't know if I was thinking WWE champion at the time. Maybe I was, but somewhere in that camp, I'm sure I was thinking for Tyler Breeze and his ceiling. How well he could do on the main roster by having that great match and having that moments there, and of course winning the match itself, but still moments during the match against Sami Zayn, who arguably to some is one of the best from NXT, or from NXT history. So Tyler Breeze, I think it was the match that could have made him, and I thought at the time did make him. So for that reason, and the match itself, I would say for me would be making the list, but. That's Russia. I think it should be in the top 10, but we'll just have to see how it plays out with the rest of the cards. But just looking at it face value, right? Tyler Breeze versus Sami Zayn, I think it should be on the top 10 in it.
Oh man, it's gonna start getting tough, man. It's gonna start getting tough.
Now, wait a minute. Did you have any more matches on there from that card? Because I remember there were two other really good matches.
I have two other matches on that we gotta talk about. So one of them was Charlotte versus Natalya. We'll get into that one. So let's talk about that one first. So this wasn't. I think this was maybe the first time I saw that I actually saw Charlotte wrestle. I don't think I ever watched her before then, but this is the first time I actually saw her wrestle. Instantly, you already knew, like, all right, she's gonna be something because this girl's amazing. So, what do you guys think about this match? I love the match personally too, by the way.
This was the first time Charlotte caught my eye, to where, same thing like you said, she could be a star. Because before, I knew that there were people's kids down there, like Ricky the Dragon Steamboat's son, Vader's kid was down there, and so many more. But were they ready? I don't know. And Charlotte finally proved it here. And it's so weird to watch, like, their bodies transform too. I don't know if this is something you guys ever noticed, but they don't look the same. Like, sometimes you see them come in, they don't have all the muscles yet. They don't have the promos quite yet. So they bring in Ric Flair and Bret the Hitman Hart to help out with this. And Natalya being down there, I think some of the people being underutilized on the main roster going to NXT was a great thing. And you'll see that in the next match I think he's going to talk about too. It's just one of those things that made it so much better. Is this match worthy of top 10? Because this was for the vacant title, because Paige got moved up to the main roster at this point.
Yeah.
And they were trying to crown a new women's champion. That belt is also unforgivable. If I ever see anybody like walking around with it at one of the shows, do not let me see that NXT women's belt, because I think one thing comes to mind, and you guys know what that is: Xavier Woods and Paige. And so, yeah, I don't know if this is top 10 either, man. I don't know. It's a really good, like, and don't think we're taking these like as, oh, I don't like the match. It's really good. It's just, is it top 10 worthy? I don't know. I'm gonna say a maybe at best for me.
Right, and that's the hard part. Like you even said, Conrad, that's the part. This is a debate show. Which ones really are going to be deserving to make this overall top 10 list with all the great NXT Takeover shows. Or if you talk to a diehard NXT Takeover fan, all takeovers are great, all the matches are great. But for me, I agree with both of you in regards to Charlotte Flair. At the time, I didn't know if she really had the stuff to make it in WWE. As being Ric Flair's daughter, I'm sure maybe helped or didn't, whatever. She earned her chance, but I didn't know if she was going to make it, and if she was really going to succeed. Especially now, here in present day, you hear interviews where she was talking about she did this more for her brother, with her brother, and kind of like taking along, and it working out for her, and the stardom that she is today. But at that time, at that takeover show, I was like, well, we'll see what Charlotte's made of, facing against a veteran like Natalya Neidhart, and I think what she showed during the match, and I think the match itself really showed to me that Charlotte Flair has arrived, kind of like I was just talking about with Tyler Breeze arriving, and my expectations of Tyler Breeze at that time. Well, the same was in the women's division in regards to Charlotte Flair at the time. And then, excuse me, the one spot when Natalia applying the sharpshooter to Charlotte, who then counters it to the figure 4 and to the figure 8, seeing that and how cool of a spot that was. I know that's just one spot of the whole match, but still, just that's what I remember the most of it in regards to the match in that one particular spot. But Charlotte getting the win, hitting natural selection, and then to win the championship. But should be in the top 10. I would unfortunately say that it shouldn't.
All right, let's talk about the next match. Neville versus Tyson Kidd, which was the main event of the show. Tyson Kidd, I don't believe, was on NXT. I think he was down there doing stuff to help NXT build the brand up. And it's a shame, man, that his career's over because Tyson Kidd was really, really good, man. It's a shame that he can't wrestle no more because of that neck injury that he had. But Tyson Kidd was really, really good, man. I really think the last one he had, like him and Cesaro, like a tag team. They were doing like some really good stuff with the tag team and stuff. I really like Tyson Kidd. I like this match. Top 10 though. I don't know about this one. What do you guys think?
Another, it's gonna fall in the same category as Charlotte in them. Great match. I remember loving the match at the time. Tyson Kidd actually, I feel like, got revitalized by going down to NXT. He was way above it. He didn't need to be there. He was there to help teach, but while he was teaching, he got himself over at the same time. So it really worked. He was also chanted Natty's husband and everything else. And I want to give one little caveat to this. So basically, it falls under the same thing as Charlotte and Natalia for me. So, but I want to say this: there is not a bad NXT Takeover show. You could put me down in the books as of today for saying that there is not one bad NXT Takeover show. So if you guys hear us like kind of like being wishy-washy about it, it's not a bad match. But very few shows that I could think of that I was just like, it was okay. Or it was pretty good. Most of them, it's like, dude, this is amazing. I wish the main roster was like this. And it's because of matches like this with Tyson Kidd. That was my earliest memories of, dude, you cannot miss these NXT shows.
Yeah, and for me, for Tyson Kidd being down there and getting those Natty's husband and such like that, but he really showed to me of what Tyson Kidd can really be in that ring and how good his matches were and are. Of course, in his past now that he has forced to retire, but this match against Neville I don't think should be in the top 10. I think there are many in regards to main event matches from NXT Takeover shows that are far superior to this match. But in regards to the first two takeovers, Arrival and this one, I think this one actually is better than NXT Arrival's main event in that ladder match. But I don't think it deserves to be in the top 10 of best NXT Takeover matches.
All right, so let's move on to the next takeover, which is Fatal 4-Way. Now there was I only have one match on the show, that was the main event, but there was Bayley and Charlotte had a match on the show that was really good. But it wouldn't make my top 10. If you guys want to talk about that, we can go through that a little bit if you guys want to. But other than that, I only have one match on the show, so anybody want to go through it? You guys are cool? Let's go to the main event.
No, I got nothing. The main event's the only match on here that I see.
Yeah, okay. So the main event was the Fatal 4-Way match. Neville versus Tyson Kidd versus Sami Zayn versus Tyler Breeze. I really like this Fatal 4-Way match. Top 10. Oh, man.
This is a really good 4-way, though. Like,
yeah, this is really good. Really 4-Way. But, like, this is when NXT was really starting to come through. Like, this is like Conrad said, this is when this is when I knew that I couldn't miss NXT shows. Like, dude, you can't. If you're missing NXT shows, bro, you're missing out, bro. Like, you gotta watch this stuff. So, top 10, though, man. Oh my god. I don't know. What do you guys think? Let's start with Steve. Go ahead, Steve. You start.
I think at best I would have it as a maybe, as into the top 10. But this is, you had the first two NXT Takeover shows that overall were good collectively. But in regards to main events and in this Fatal 4-Way match being the match that sold me to for sure be watching NXT on a regular basis, or watching these NXT Takeover shows. Not to say the other two were bad and I didn't care. It's just this Fatal 4-Way match of the Superstars part of it. Neville, Tyson Kidd, Tyler Breeze, and Sami Zayn just got me hooked in regards to takeovers, and like you guys said, and as everybody, and as all NXT fans say now currently, NXT Takeover is a can't miss, always delivers. How do they even get better each and every time? What they say now, but at that time, excuse me, with NXT Takeover Fatal 4-Way, that Fatal 4-Way match at least hooked me as a fan of NXT and a fan of and just to keep and watch and keep watching on the basis, and also the NXT Takeover shows. So in that way, it holds a higher regard to me. But in regards to top 10 of NXT Takeover matches, I think as of right now, I would say my vote would be to put it in the maybe.
Steve, I think I'm with you on this one. I think it has to at least be put in considerations at this point. This Fatal 4-Way is absolutely amazing. When you look at everything that was going on at the time, you had Neville trying to define himself as a champion during this match. Tyson Kidd, the guy who never got anything in WWE, and he was trying to get that shot, taking advantage of everything else. He was in the tournament for the first ever NXT title. He was trying to make something happen. Tyler Breeze, someone who was this close to being fired, and then he comes up with a new character, and it's money. And then you have Sami Zayn, the underdog from the underground. People absolutely wanted Sami Zayn to win. And this is around the time when the video game makers even knew, like, yo, we got to start including these guys in on the 2K video games because people are going absolutely nuts for these guys, and they got to have them in their games. And I thought that was really dope. Yeah, all around good stuff here. And it even prolongs to the next takeovers. Like, this is when we start seeing storytelling from takeover to takeover and stuff too.
So I have it down in the mentions. We haven't got one match on the list yet, though, so it's gonna be pretty difficult. So let's jump to the next takeover. It was called NXT Takeover Our Evolution. I have 2 matches on the show that I wrote down that I think deserve mentions. One of them, the first one we'll go to, is Charlotte versus Sasha Banks. Now, I believe, as far as my knowledge goes, this is the first time I saw anything from Sasha Banks on Takeover. I don't think she was on Takeovers before. This one, I think this was her first one. I could be wrong, not positive, but I think this was her first Takeover. I think this is the first time we saw Sasha Banks at a glimpse. I don't even think she had purple hair back in this match. So, what do you guys think about Charlotte versus Sasha Banks?
A good match. I would say that it definitely should go in the maybe in regards to best of NXT all time. I mean, Sasha Banks, I think I agree, was her NXT Takeover debut. And if I remember correctly, in regards to me watching her then me rewatching the other night of the match, that, hey, this is someone that I really should care about, should watch out for, and someone that definitely can be taking the women's division by storm. Because I just saw something in Sasha Banks that she can be, and of course is now in money, and just as much as I noticed from Charlotte takeovers ago at the time. But I don't know if I don't think or believe that it was a big enough and good enough match to deserve to be on a top 10 best of list. So I would put it, for me, in the maybe pile.
No bueno from your man here. I'm not saying it's a bad match. I think it was an excellent showcase match to show what Sasha was becoming. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, gentlemen, on my timeline. Was this when Summer Rae was getting into people's heads backstage, and Sasha was a babyface in the beginning, and then she got into her head saying, like, oh, you could be better than this. And then I remember people would look into the mirror and they would just say, man, what am I doing? This sucks. And Summer Rae was kind of the catalyst towards all that before she got called up to be with Fandango. And all of a sudden, Sasha started realizing, hey, I'm the boss. I should be the one taking over. And that's how she got her personality. Good match, great showcase. I don't think it's top 10 worthy.
Me neither. I thought it deserved a mention, but top 10, I wouldn't put it in my top 10.
I think there's another match on here that I think is going to be my first inclusion.
What is it?
Sami Zayn Adrian Neville, title versus career match.
Oh yeah, this is the next match I don't hear. So this is I only have 2 matches on here, so this is the next.
Oh, I'm sorry, I stole your thunder though.
This is the match that I have: Sami Zayn versus Adrian Neville. This was title versus career. Sami Zayn, was coming this close every time to winning the championship, and he just couldn't. He wasn't successful. He wasn't, he couldn't get the job done. Neville was at the time the top guy who was eventually on his way up to the main roster. I love this match. Especially, I love everything after the match too. With the whole Kevin Owens.
You forgot one thing too. Who debuted that night in the opening match?
Kevin, yeah, I was getting to that. I said I love everything that happened after the match. Kevin Owens, the whole Kevin Owens that went down. Which set up a great storyline for Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, going down the road for NXT and the main roster. Oh man, top 10. Woo, man. Oh god, this is gonna get hard, man, because there's so many good matches in Takeover. This is like I want to put it on the list, but then we're gonna get down to the other takeovers, and I'm like, oh man, I don't know. What do you guys think, man?
I say it should be on the list. I think it's a definite yes for me for my vote. I mean, honestly, just on the basis of itself being title versus career match, John McLean it should be on a list. If not, at the very least, maybe. But my vote would definitely be yes. I mean, the promos leading up to it, Sami Zayn, like you said, him being so close but never being able to be the champion and being like, and just basically being like, screw it. If I can't win this title, I don't deserve to be here. So I'm putting my career on the line for your championship that I covet so much. So I think the promos leading up to the match itself, what happened afterwards, and the title versus career match that it was on its own basis, I think are 4 reasons for me that I say it definitely should. It would be yes for me to put it on the list.
I'm going to do some foreshadowing here. Sami Zayn was the first one. Without Sami Zayn, I don't think we would understand Johnny Gargano as well. That is like the perfect story of someone who he's so invested in his character, so invested in himself that sometimes he oversteps his boundaries and does all this other stuff. And when he was saying he could beat Neville was laughing at him. I don't know if you remember, he started healing it up a little bit like, dude, listen, you're over your head. You're not going to beat me. You've tried time and time again, and you can't beat me. Just face the facts. Really good stuff between these two here, though. Malik, I think it has to be on there. There's got to be a spot for this match. And then the after effects with Kevin Owens. I don't know if we even count that into all this, but
yeah, that has to be, because I mean that was some good stuff too, man. That was all good stuff right there. It's just I don't know, man. It's so many good takeover matches. It's hard, man. Like I feel like we're gonna put this on the list, and then I feel like we're gonna go through all these takeovers, and then somebody's gonna be. I feel like I don't know, man.
All right. Can we all come to an agreement? Let's put it on the side section then.
Yeah, we'll put it on the side section. I definitely love this match. I love everything about this match.
All right. Listen, I'm not going to keep bending for you guys after this because there are some where I'm going to fight. Like,
no, there's some I'm fighting for too. There's some. I mean, I had no problem with this being on the list. It's just the fact that, like, okay,
I think it's going to.
I think for sure, definitely. I mean, if you, to be quite honest, in regards to fighting for matches, I mean, this would be the one, even out of some ones that I see in the most recent NXT takeovers, that I definitely say should be on the list because. Again, it being the title versus career match, and the promos, even in camera, was talking about on Neville's side as well that I did not bring up. You have Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, one of the biggest feuds, the Fight Forever stuff, coming from their NXT times, and that's starting and the catalyst happening at this NXT show after Sami Zayn defeats Neville and finally has his moment, and then Kevin Owens comes in and in the parade being an ass, whatever, just how that was after the match and what that set up. Moving forward for NXT, not just for Sami Zayn or Kevin Owens, but for NXT, I believe at the time, or more so now, looking back at it and rewatching it, and setting up NXT for the years to come, just simply with Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens for their feud, and for NXT superstars moving forward, and for superstars that would be pushed like a Sami Zayn was, and characters like Sami Zayn, even what Conrad was talking about in regards to Gargano and his story, So Sami Zayn being the superstar and the story and the storyline that you could grab from to take when speaking of Gargano, and we not having that if we did not have that Sami Zayn Adrian Neville match. So from the Sami Zayn Neville match, title versus career, for the NXT Championship brought upon many other things moving forward. And I think the number one thing from that being Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens, which for me I would say is the number one feud of NXT all time. And that's saying a lot with all the great feuds that have been in NXT. So that's why we're talking about fighting for a match for the list. That's where I stand right now in regards to fight. I would fight for this match. I believe it definitely deserves to be strong armed into the list and should be on the list. I don't care if it's number 10, number 6, or number 1. It deserves to be on the list.
I'm gonna have to save that for that. That's some good stuff, man, because this is leading up to the free agency kind of era for NXT. This is when people started getting signed too, left and right, man. There's a lot of good people that are about to come in and change the game.
I want to put this match on the list so bad, dude. I really do. But there's so many other matches I have in my head that it has to be on the list for me. So I'm just like, man, I don't know if I'm gonna put it on there now. We have to come back to it. Definitely deserves to mention. No doubt. I love everything about this match. The story and everything with Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn was great. Everything leading up to it was great. Let's move on to the next takeover. NXT Takeover Rival. Now on this match we had Finn Balor. I think Finn Balor versus Neville, number one contenders match. I think Hideo Itami and Tyler Breeze had a match. I think they had a match.
That was the opening match.
Yeah, Hideo Itami and Tyler Breeze. And then Kevin Owens. I only have one match on this list I wrote down, so I want to mention all these other matches. Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn was also great. I think that was the one where he powerbombed him numerous times, and the match didn't end in he didn't pin him, it ended no decision.
Ref stoppage.
Yeah,
ref stoppage.
He took the championship, which I thought was great. I thought it was a great story to tell because Sami Zayn never really lost. He kind of just took the beating.
And back to what I said about the bumps meaning so much, he looked dead, dude. I was like, all right, man, can we just end this?
Right, he just looked so good.
Save this man.
I really love this takeover. It's one of my favorite takeovers, actually. I love Finn Balor and Neville, the number one contender match. I really because this is when Finn Balor was really starting to come up as to be the guy. And Neville was on his way out. But I only have one match that I want to mention on the list. So I only have the Fatal 4 match for the women's. Yes. I have the women's Fatal 4-way. Sasha Banks versus Bayley versus Charlotte versus Becky Lynch. Sasha Banks winning was incredible. I love this match as well. This to me is when I really started to pay attention to women's wrestling. I like the Paige and the Paige match going back to the first take, but this is when I really was like, okay, these 4 girls are these are legit, no joke. These girls can go. They're legit. What do you guys think about this match, the Fatal 4 match?
I think it's really good. And you know what? I just had to Google something before. It was all because of the BFFs is why all that stuff started too. It was Summer Rae, Sasha, and Charlotte were a group at one point. And that's where the tensions all came in and brought up everything. So this is the first time we see the 4 horsewomen all together in the ring at the same time. And I think that this is one of Becky Lynch's better moments. This is a match that Brian mentioned last week on the show with us, Malik, that doesn't get shown enough love. Becky really did a good job in this match. And I thought that everybody kicked ass. This is one of the first matches that I'm like, no, this is really good. And like I said, if it's not on the list, it deserves at least consideration for my viewing of it. I don't know how you guys feel, but I think it should be on the consideration list at least.
I feel just as strongly about this women's Fatal 4-way match in regards to the women's division and how it catapulted things just as much as I was fight for a match from the previous NXT TakeOver show, that this one definitely should be on our top 10 list for sure. I mean, you would have the 4 horsewomen in this match. Sasha Banks winning the championship. The past TakeOver, she's in the title match, so she's somewhat arrived. I've all stuff with the group like Conrad just brought up with BFFs, Charlotte, Summer Rae, and Sasha Banks, and now Sasha Banks winning the NXT Women's Championship, and just the near falls during the match. Lynch with an exploder suplex to Charlotte, Bayley with the Bayley to belly or belly to Bayley, whatever it's called. Let her top rope on Charlotte or near fall. Just each of them having the near falls. The length of the match in itself, I think, is something to talk about. In regards to now women at this time getting longer matches. I think it was 12 to 14 minutes total for the match. And again, Sasha Banks overcoming odds and winning and becoming the NXT Women's Champion. So I think all of that, and I kind of pulled and beginning the age of change, or the women's evolution revolution, as it was tagged to be by Stephanie McMahon, started that night. Started with that match, even more so with the first ever NXT Women's Title match from the NXT Arrival show with Emma and Paige. But here with the Four Horsewomen, Sasha Banks, Charlotte Flair, Bayley, and Becky Lynch, that being the beginning of something new, something better for the women's division of what we see today in NXT, in WWE main roster as well. So I see that being the beginning of that at NXT Rival, and Sasha Banks winning in this Fatal 4 match. I definitely say it should be on the list.
I think it deserves to be in the mentions, like Conrad said. Man, we haven't got one match on this list. This is gonna be hard. Like, there's so many matches we haven't even gone to yet. But
we haven't even gotten to the classics that you're like, yo,
this
has to be on there.
Yeah, like we haven't even gotten to that point yet, man. So I'm just like, man, we gotta talk about that in the mentions. So let's talk about the next takeover, NXT Takeover Unstoppable. I only have one match on the list too, but I'm gonna go through the card just in case someone else goes there. I think this was Samoa Joe's debut for the NXT when Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens had their rematch, and I think
you're on which show? Unstoppable.
Yeah, I think this is when Samoa Joe came out after the match. I don't think this match had a conclusion either. If I'm not mistaken. I think something happened, DQ or something. I don't really remember. Finn Balor fought Tyler Breeze. It was supposed to be a triple threat with Hideo Itami, but Hideo Itami got hurt, so that's when like the Demon, I think, first appeared. If I'm not mistaken, or one of the very few times in NXT when it appeared. Really good match too. But the only match I have on written down is Becky Lynch versus Sasha Banks, which is a match that people forget about in NXT. I feel like this was one of like Becky Lynch's better matches she's ever had in NXT. I loved how they both went after each other's arms in this match. They were both kind of like one armed in this match. They were both using their finishes in this match. This definitely deserves in the mentions for me. I mean, if we're talking about best takeover, it's got to be in the mentions. I don't know if I'll put it in my top 10, but it definitely deserves to be in the mentions.
I think it was a good match, and everything that you just mentioned, Malika, of the reason why for you put it in the maybes. But for me, I have to say no. I don't say it should be on the list, and it wouldn't be on my own personal list for best NXT Takeover matches. Just for the mere fact of just better matches in the women's division, let alone better matches overall from other NXT Takeover shows. So for me, it'd be a hard no.
I am probably gonna roll with Steve on this one. Not that it's a bad match. I think that this is one of those. If I had to pick a sleeper list, this might be on that. Sleeper match of the night. Sasha Banks ends up defeating Becky Lynch. And I absolutely loved how the women had better submissions than the men at the time. The women were definitely the better ones. But at this point, did you ever think to yourself that one of these women could be main eventing WrestleMania one day? Like, I was not thinking like that, especially of Becky Lynch back then.
No way. Nobody was thinking about that back then. I mean, even like 2 years ago at WrestleMania, I never would have thought a women's main event would happen at WrestleMania. It's just something that you just never really thought would be possible. It's like, all right, come on. Women's main event WrestleMania, come on now.
Yeah, I think this is a very underrated match, but I don't think it's top 10 worthy.
All right, so let's move on from that match then. This next takeover is NXT Takeover Brooklyn. Now, I don't care what any of y'all say. I'm fighting for this match to be on the list. It definitely has to be on the list. Only one match on this show that I'm talking about. There was a ladder match on the show that was great. Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn was a great match, but there's only one match on this show that sticks out. Sasha Banks versus Bayley. This hands down has to be on the list. I don't. This is not even in the mentions to me. This has to be on the list. Like this is definitely on the list for me. This to me was probably. I've seen a lot of great women's matches, but this has to be up there as one of the top 3 greatest women's matches I've ever seen in my life. I mean, this match, everything about it, and the story in this match was great. I loved everything about this match and the story they told. You know, the backflip hurricane off the top rope. You know, I loved how when Sasha had the bank statement in and Bayley was reaching for the ropes, she was stomping on her hand, like just stomping her hand trying to get from reaching the ropes. This match is absolutely classic, man. This is like the first. Oh man, this to me was kind of like this because this was the first time they stepped out of Full Sail. This was when they were like in the big arena. This to me was like the first classic takeover match ever. Like the first one that people talked about. Like, hey, this is the match you have to go see. So like, this has to be on the list for me, man. I have to fight for this one. If it's gonna be, if we're gonna have problems with this one, so what do you guys think?
He said we're gonna have problems, like we're about
Okay.
to fight. There is no fight for me, good sir. We talked about this last week in top 10 greatest rivalries.
Yeah,
Like, yeah, so Brian was not letting it go. So shout out to Brian Williams. Yeah, man. I think this has to be on there. The reverse Hurricanrana. I lost my mind watching this match. Best women's match of all time, in my opinion. So I'm with you. It's on the list for me.
And you don't need to worry about me either. I'm on the same train as you. Definitely should be on the list. Be on my list. The story told leading up to the match, the story told during the match, never falls, and just that fan ovation and reaction when Bayley did pin Sasha Banks to win the NXT Women's Championship, and then the aftermath of having, having the wrestlers out there and the Four Horsewomen together. In support of Bayley or in support of both of them, of course, in the match. I think all that encompassing, it definitely deserves to be on the list.
Yeah, this match was absolutely incredible, man. This was like, I was with you, Conrad. I was losing my mind in this match. I was like, dude, women's wrestling is officially like a thing now. Like, there's no question. Like, never would I ever, when I was growing up, I never even cared about, I didn't even care about women. Get these people off my TV. I don't want to see these people. Like, why are they on my TV? They don't do much. Like, this was like, I remember when women's wrestling was like, when they had used to have WrestleMania, this was like a match you put on for WrestleMania, kind of like, well, like right before the main event, like right before the big match happens. So you just put it on so people can go and have the bathroom break or something like that. We kind of like, all right, well, let me get my snacks back and something like that. But now it's like, women's wrestling has come so far, man. It's evolved so well. And this was like the first match that definitely to me took off the whole women's evolution thing. I mean, this match was absolutely incredible. No question. So this definitely on the list. We got a first one on the list, guys. We got one on the list now. We got Sasha Banks and Bayley. Takeover booking the number one on the list right now. So about the next takeover. Takeover Respect. Again, I only have one match on this list. That was Sasha Banks and Bayley again in the Iron Woman match. Oh man, now this one definitely wasn't better than Brooklyn to me, but top 10, I don't know, man. I really loved the spot in the match though when she took that girl's headband off her head and she like, or that it was like a poster or something like that. She took it was like one of the Bayley fans, and she took the headband off her and did that. That was such a heel move, like such the heel move. And the little girl started crying and everything. I was like, oh my god, that's like the heel of all heels right there, man. That's like beautiful stuff you want to see in wrestling. So definitely things deserve to mention. But what do you guys think about this one?
I like this match. I just feel that I don't know if it's top 10. This is going to be in consideration for me. I was almost going to shun it, but I'm deciding not to. I think it's a really good match that plays into the whole story that Steve was talking about before, but I really feel like the submission match told a great story, and I think it was kind of, we need to be taken seriously and we need to treat these women right in this company, with Triple H coming out with the flowers and everything afterwards. So I say consideration.
Yeah, I say strong consideration as well. Though I was close, just like Conrad, in regards to giving it a no because of other great NXT TakeOver matches, but it being the first of a 30-minute Iron Man match for the women for the NXT title, and Sasha Banks antics with Izzy, the super fan of Bayley, there with her headband taking it off. And then again, story told leading up to it, story told during the match, near falls, and of course the drama in the end with the last couple of seconds, as there always is with Iron Man matches. But I definitely would say and agree with Conrad in regards to putting it in consideration to be on the list.
All right, so we have it written down for consideration. Let's move on to the next takeover. NXT TakeOver Dallas. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I have 4 matches on the show that we're gonna talk about. This show was amazing.
You need to chill, sir. We didn't mention Jusha Thunder Liger. We didn't mention Baron Corbin in that Dusty Classic with him and Chad Gable and the sweet finish at the end. Oh, you're killing me.
Those were all good. There are a lot of good matches on the show, man. There are a lot of good matches on the show. I want to start with the tag team match. American Alpha versus The Revival. Really, really, really good match. This is when I really started. I really liked American Alpha with the tag team, by the way. I don't know why they split them up. I don't know. Obviously, they had big things for Jason Jordan and everything, but I really liked them as the tag team. feel bad for Chad Gable because they just keep throwing him in tag team after tag team. He was an American Alpha, and he was Shelton Benjamin. Now he was Bobby Roode. Like, oh my God, they just keep throwing the guy in tag teams over and over again. So, really love this match. I believe did American Alpha win this match, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, this is
Yep,
when they
they won.
win the belts.
This is when they won the belts. Great moment. What do you guys think about this match?
Go. Do you have something, Steve? Go ahead.
I was just gonna say that I think it should be in consideration. I would be honest, it's one of those, like I would say, in consideration but barely hanging on, meaning it was like very close for me to say no. I say, give it a hard pass, but I think I'm going to give it consideration just for the mere fact of how much over American Alpha was for me individually, how I enjoyed that tag team. Like, I agree with Malik, like wishing there was something better and more for Jason Jordan individually moving forward, or them as a tag team. And I remember thinking at the time when they did win the tag team titles, how happy I was for them and how I thought that was going to be a catalyst or something for them, not just there in NXT being the NXT tag team champions, but what they could be when they come onto the push to the main roster and get the call up, and how they could take the tag team division by storm, maybe multi-tag team champions and stuff like that. Like, I was already feeling them at heart and thinking that they were going to do that well as a tag team together, almost together forever sort of thing. But I think for that individually, I think that is why it should be at least in consideration.
I'm with you guys. I think it should be in consideration. When you look at the two teams involved, I always think the Revival, if the Midnight Express and the Brainbuster tag teams had to have a baby, it would be the Revival. And if you had to think of the world's greatest tag team and the Steiner brothers having a baby, it would be American Alpha. And I really felt like they did not give enough consideration to both these teams during that time. So when it comes to American Alpha, I'll say this too. Jason Jordan was in a bunch of tag teams before this that did not work. I don't know if you guys remember that when he had the kind of curly hair and stuff. Jason Jordan was not getting over until Chad Gable came along. I think Chad Gable's the star of that team. I've always said it. I think he's more of the Kurt Angle than anything else with that team. He's very impressive. He held his own in there with Shelton Benjamin as a tag team later on. Chad Gable's a star, and I always have to at least give him his props when I'm saying stuff like that. Even with Roode and Gable, a lot of people don't like the team. Oh, they should be singles. For what they've been given, Gable has made it work. He's put on the robe. He's done whatever he's been asked to do. The dude is really good. And that's not to take away from the Revival. The Revival were a top tag team. I don't know if you guys remember them as the Mechanics too at one point. Like, it's weird to watch guys who were once like the jobbing enhancement guys. Now they are the top stars, like Blake and Murphy. The Revival, they were the Mechanics before that, dude. Like, they were bums.
Yeah.
I think this match has a strong consideration on here. This is a great takeover card too, by the way.
Yeah.
Great.
All right, so I put it down for consideration. I'm with you guys on that one for consideration. Next match: Shinsuke Nakamura versus Sami Zayn.
Put it on. I'm not even. We don't have to say nothing else.
Yeah, just put it on.
Put it on.
Let's put it on.
I mean, I think, dude, that's a effing great match. Despite knowing that it was Sami Zayn's last match, but it was time for him to get the call up, despite all the injuries.
Yeah, and plus he was on WrestleMania the next day too, which was crazy too. So
yeah, freaking dude, yeah, he did double duty. That's crazy.
He was on WrestleMania the next day in the ladder match. So we're putting it on. No discussion. Is it on?
I think the reaction alone of the crowd singing that man's music showed that he was over. And this is what I'm talking about. See, I'm going on a rant. Don't even, because I'm going to start going on. This is why this man should be in a higher standing than where he is now in WWE. I feel like they broke him down and ruined him. Like, Nakamura, dude, just go back and watch it. It's just a thing of beauty. The whole match. It was really, really good. Very well done.
Yeah, I fucking definitely just, it should be on the list.
Putting it down on the list. We got number 2 on the list, Shinsuke versus Sami Zayn. The other 2 matches on the card, I don't think are on the list, but I thought they should have mentioned. Asuka versus Bayley, I thought was a really decent, good match and well done. Wouldn't make the list, but I don't deserve to mention. Another one was Finn Balor versus Samoa Joe, the main event of the show. Another really good match. Wouldn't make my list, but I thought those matches deserved mentions. I'm not gonna go into those. I still think they deserve mentions because they were really good. And this is when Asuka won this one. She won the belt, right? This is when she won the
Yeah,
championship.
this is when Bailey passes out because everyone thought Bailey was gonna have a little bit of a longer reign, but Asuka was kind of. They always booked themselves in these weird, like, yo, I could see it going either way in the story. You could tell with it, and then Bailey just passes out, kind of like, oh, she couldn't take anymore. Fun match. It was just the women were always in this like weird predicament of can they top the guys or are they going to be able to top this? And as far as Finn Balor and Samoa Joe goes, to give some quick thoughts on it, I don't know about that feud. Like it wasn't bad, but nothing really was like, wow, I
I don't think
Yeah,
the Balor and Joe feud was, I don't know, something was missing for that to me. The matches they had were really good, but as far as the feud, I don't know.
I think it was because Finn was winning a lot back then.
Yeah.
They were just they turned Joe heel and then they gave him nothing.
So Takeover the End was the next Takeover. I don't have anything written down for the show. There was a good tag team match with American Alpha and Rival again. A really good tag team match. Steel cage match with Joe and Samoa Joe and Finn Balor was on the show. Asuka, Nia Jax. Well, I think it's Nia Jax. For you, if I'm mistaken. And then Austin Aries, Under NC, and Almas. This is when Almas was still wearing the suspenders and that little hat with the flower with the little hat with the little feather on it and stuff like that.
God.
Yeah, so this is when he was still wearing that stuff, man. I was like, who is this guy? It's crazy, like you said, to see how Andrade now. I was like, dude, looking back then, I'm like, who is this guy wearing this like suspenders and like with this little like gang hat he has on, this little like 1920s gang member hat he has on and stuff. I'm like, who is this guy? But
and you know what's the weird part? He was really good, but you just couldn't take the character serious because of the suspenders and
and suspenders and everything. I was like, man, who is this? He wanted to be cheered. People were throwing him like, who's this guy? Like, why is he wearing these suspenders? Like, I was like, oh, God, I feel bad for this guy. So, nothing on that show I'm going to go over. Like I said, it was a great show, but nothing that I think would make the top 10. Let's go to next takeover, NXT Takeover Brooklyn 2. This is going to start getting tough, guys. It's going to start getting tough. So, first match we're going to cover is the Revival versus DIY. I believe this was DIY's first takeover match. First takeover tag team match. Anytime these guys had tag team matches, it was magic. I mean, these guys had straight chemistry left and right. I mean, DIY was the absolute most over babyface tag team in NXT, I think. I mean, these guys were like, everybody loved DIY. Everybody was behind them. Everybody wanted to win. Revival were like old school, like a very old school tag team, the way their style was. These guys had absolute magic. What do you guys think? I know, Conrad, you're big on DIY. You love DIY, so.
You want me to go first?
Yeah, you can go first.
All right, dude. So, as you guys probably know, I have like this love infatuation for DIY. They cost me so many prediction shows because I picked DIY because I went with this instead of this. And you know what's the weird part too? The moment I don't pick DIY, some crazy stuff happens and then someone else wins or it's a triple threat tag and I get pissed off. And the Authors of Pain caused me a lot of heartache, who also debut on this show. This was probably a really good match. Here's the crazy part. I don't remember it enough. I know that it probably ends in heartache and Johnny Gargano ends up eating the Shatter Machine. But other than that, I don't remember this enough to say that it's great. And trust me, these names will be back on this list again. I promise.
Well, that's for sure. I know there is one DIY match moving forward in regards to NXT takeovers that I know definitely should be making the list. But for this one from NXT Takeover Brooklyn 2, again, I kind of agree with Conrad in regards to not remembering enough for it to definitely deserve to be on the list, right? A match that you think should be on the top 10 of greatest of a pay-per-view event. You know, you should be remembering more of it, no matter how far back it is. It's that memorable. I know, don't get me wrong, these teams facing off against each other was always great and would always continue to be great if we keep doing it. But I think for this match specifically, should at least be in the maybe pile.
So the next match we have Asuka versus Bailey. This is Bailey's farewell match for NXT. It's when she's going to the main roster. Really good match. I really like this match. This was another one, like you kind of said in the first one. This was when people kind of thought Bailey might get it back. You know what I mean? Like, oh, she might actually get it. People were really behind Bailey. But Asuka again wins. And in the next match we have Shinsuke versus Samoa Joe in the main event for the NXT Championship. Didn't Shinsuke break his jaw in this match? Something like that? Did he
Dude, I was gonna mention it if you didn't want to talk about it. Dude, he Kinshasa this man, and I'll never forget. I was like, "Oh God, what happened to Joe?" And he was holding his jaw like this. I'm like, "Yo, he broke the dude's jaw, like he fractured it." Well, that was some strong style stuff right there.
Yeah.
I really like this match. I was surprised Shinsuke won. I didn't think he was gonna win. I thought it was kind of a little bit early because he was still kind of new to NXT. I was like, he might not get it this time, but maybe the next time.
But Malik, that dude was over. Do you remember people singing the songs? Like,
yeah, he was over. It's just he only been on the roster for like a couple months. So I was like, you know what, they might have him lose this one. Then they may give it him the next one. That's like the next takeover. That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
But I mean, I wouldn't put this match on my list. I don't deserve to mention, but I mean, this was a really, really good match. I don't know. This match would make my list. You guys have it on the list or?
No, I didn't have that match on my list.
All right, next takeover, NXT Takeover Toronto.
Which I just bought tickets for when they go back to Toronto. Just wanted to say that. Woo-hoo.
Cool.
So you going to Survivor Series when they go on there?
SummerSlam.
Is that what it is? I might have to get tickets for that too. To be honest, I'm debating on that.
I'm looking into it.
I might need my tickets for that. I need to get my passport though, but I might have to go to that show. So this match, man, that I'm gonna mention is DIY versus the Revival, 2 out of 3 falls match. This match was absolutely insanity. This is gonna start getting tough, man. This is like every time these guys had a match, dude, it was incredible. Like I don't think they had one bad tag team match where I didn't enjoy. So I'm gonna let you guys jump into it. Conrad, what do you think about this match? Top 10 worthy?
DIY versus the Revival? Hell yeah. 2 out of 3 falls. This was classic. Like I said, Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa came up, and I remember they were enhancement guys in the beginning, just dudes who showed up and you're like, oh, I think they wrestle for Evolve or something. I've heard of them, but I haven't really seen them. But slowly, as a tag team, they started to win me over, and I was like, dude, I like these guys. They're really good. And the Revival, they were the first ever 2-time NXT Tag Team Champions. The prestige was there. They carried the belts like champs. They looked like champs. This was an amazing match, and I don't want to steal anybody's thunder, but I have to talk about the ending, dude. When they were sitting there and they have the double submission moves locked in, and he grabs his partner's hand like, no, don't tap. We got this. And they teased it so well. And then eventually they were both like, we can't. And they tap out. It's such a great moment. I was down like, yes, finally. And I think it's top 10.
Yeah, definitely as well for me. Put it in the top 10 list, and that finish, I was going to bring that up as well. Just that moment with, like you said, with the Revival, and that was the part, Dash and Dawson, and always was saying like, don't tap, and then having to give up, tap out, and Gargano and Ciampa getting the win. I remember being a big fan of DIY and being so happy for them winning the tag team titles, like I was for American Alpha. I think the little difference is at the time, I was a little higher on Gargano than Ciampa, even though it was a tag team. They were awesome, and I enjoyed them as DIY. But just individually, how I saw them at the time, that I thought, Gargano, whenever they do split this team up, if they did, I was thinking at the time, if they ever did split this tag team up, I think Gargano has a bigger shot of doing bigger things than Tommaso Ciampa. But as a tag team, they both are a good mix with each other to be one of the best tag teams from NXT during their NXT run. But as 2 out of 3 falls match, definitely I believe should be on the list.
Yeah, I'm agreeing with you guys. I think it should be on the list too. So no argument there. It's on the list. Enough said. Next match was Samoa Joe versus Shinsuke Nakamura. The rematch. Samoa Joe got back the championship, became 2-time NXT champion. Don't think this would make my list, but I thought this would be mentioned. Again, this was like one I was a little surprised. I didn't know Samoa Joe. I kind of felt like Samoa Joe might win, but I don't know. I thought he may be coming to the main roster. Like, he might be coming to the main roster though soon, so maybe he doesn't get it back. And he won, so oh my God, get back to him. So, what do you guys think about this match?
I don't think it's on the list for me. There were just certain people in NXT to where they were world champions, and this was a great debate on something I had commented on the other day in regards to Tommaso Ciampa and everything with the current state with him. And we'll get into that later, I assume. But there were certain people trying to say like who were the greatest NXT champions, and it's really tough. Like, I'm not saying Joe, Finn Balor, and all of them were bad. I just felt they were solid champions, and they were there for their time being until it was over. I think Finn felt a little forced at the time sometimes. Like, you were just like, all right, man, we get it. Finn, you're the man. Go up to the main roster. You're better. Like, some of the guys are just better than this. And you're just like, this is when you start realizing maybe NXT is a brand too. You're like, this could be a brand. I don't think this is for guys who are learning how to wrestle. You're calling in all these guys from other promotions to do it. Not top 10 worthy though, in my opinion. I'm gonna give this a no.
Same here. No, and again, not because the match wasn't good, or Joe and Shinsuke not doing the part, and being a great 20-minute match that it was, or 22-minute match, however long it actually was, and the match itself, I think, was pretty dang good. But being top 10 worthy, I don't think that's the case in regards to this main event for this NXT Takeover show specifically. So for me, it'd be a hard pass. I would say no, it should not be on the list.
All right, next takeover, we got NXT Takeover San Antonio. We got Authors of Pain versus DIY in a tag team match. Was this AOP's first time on Takeover? Was this not the first time on Takeover?
Second. They fought TM61 before that.
That's right, they took on TM. Bro, I don't care anybody. I like Team 600. They were like one of my favorites in NXT. They never really.
You know what? They were good till that injury.
Yeah. But I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't remember much about this match. I don't even remember who won this match.
Oh, I remember a lot about it. There were tears because I was like, they just got the belts. They didn't get a run. This is what I'm talking. Anytime I love somebody in NXT, they get the title belt, and then they always like make me cry. And I'm like, why'd you do this to me? And this is the beginning of my heartache because Authors of Pain would go on to dominate every single team that they faced. And I was like crying the blues, like, no. So this one made me sad to see them lose the belt. I don't think it's a top 10, but I remember this match.
Yeah, I remember match as well, but I don't think top 10 either. And again, not just because I was Pain defeating DI. I just think overall, but a lot better tag team matches, let alone matches overall from NXT shows. So I think for that specific reason, I would say no, shouldn't be on the list.
We also had Bobby Roode versus Shinsuke Nakamura. This is when Bobby kind of went after Shinsuke's knee, was going in with damage in that knee. Shinsuke saw it really good, by the way, too. He saw that really good. That knee is really good. Once again, Bobby Roode won the NXT Championship. This wouldn't make my list, but I thought it was a really good match. Really, really solid match. But it wouldn't make my list. So I'm just gonna, because I'm pretty sure everybody agrees it's on the list. So I'm just gonna go.
I'm with you, and Roode falls into that same category of what I talked about with Joe and all them. You know how good he is already.
Yeah.
You didn't have to. You know what? There are two sleeper matches on here too, though, that I'm surprised you didn't mention. Roderick Strong versus Cien Almas.
Yeah, it was a good match. That was a really good match.
That was good. And I thought Asuka versus Billie Kay, Peyton Royce, and Nikki Cross in that like thrown together 4-way.
Yeah.
I think that's where the suplex happens through the table, right? With Nikki Cross.
Yeah, with the table. Yeah.
Really good. But
these were all good matches on the show, but these were the ones I just thought should make people remember. Cien Almas and Roderick Strong to me was the best match on the card, though. So that's my opinion. I like that match a lot. So,
by the way, for the next Takeover, Malik, you may have to carry me through. This is the one that I've said I've never went back to watch, but I was there.
Takeover Orlando, AOP versus DIY versus the Revival Triple Threat Tag Team. Was it a ladder match? Or was it just a match?
I think it was a triple threat, but there's no DQ, so they were.
Yeah. This is a really good match, man. Really good. This is the main event. Like Conrad said, this is when the AOP was starting this year. On that rampage, man, they were just dominating. So I really like this match. Top 10 though. Oh, man, I don't know if I put this in my top 10. I just think it deserves a mention, at least, but I don't know if I put it in my top 10 because I think the previous match at Toronto was better than this one than they had.
Yeah, this was a really good match. I thought that it was a sleeper match. I definitely disappeared right before this match had started to meet somebody who I was talking to, and we just met up there for a second, introduced ourselves, like, "Oh, hey, what's up, man? Good to meet you." Blah blah blah. Just like our wrestling community, someone who I had known for quite some time. Shout out to my man Ice. met each other there, and it was right before this match. And by the time I got back, it was already into like the wreckage and carnage, and I was just like, "Oh my god!" I thought this was the best match on the card. That in the moment with Shinsuke being like serenaded by the fans, sort of doing the theme. Really good stuff.
You?
Oh no, I agree. Well, at least I agree in regards to none of the matches really being on the list for me. Bobby Roode being a champion in NXT was nice. Like I was a big fan of his, and still is now. Which WWE would be using him better, but just even at the time, though, his matches with Shinsuke Nakamura are not really doing it well enough for me to put him on a top 10 list, and even the rest of the card overall, in regards to this Orlando, just as a in totality for me. Um, I wouldn't say any of them should be on a list, let alone being maybe on a list. To be quite honest.
Yeah, I wouldn't put this on my list either. Thought it was something to mention. And then Shinsuke versus Bobby Roode was the other match on the list, which was Shinsuke's last NXT Takeover match. Great moment for Shinsuke in the crowd. Obviously sending him off because we all knew he was going to the main roster at the WrestleMania. So, great match. Wouldn't make my list, but I thought it deserved to mention at least. Moving to the next Takeover. NXT Takeover Chicago. First match we'll talk about Pete Dunne versus Tyler Bate. This is when UK guys started coming up. Man, this match was absolutely incredible. This was an incredible match. This is when I really started liking Pete Dunne. I was like, all right, this is one of my guys now. I'm a Pete Dunne fan wholeheartedly. Love this guy. He's been a champion ever since then, guys. This was May 20th, 2017. So he's been a champion for about 2 years now. So this was a really, really good match. What do you guys think of this one?
Thank goodness you didn't know me back during this time, because if you did, I called Pete Dunne winning the UK tournament. He was my prediction to win because I've seen his work before, and Pete Dunne is amazing. This match is awesome though, easily one of the better ones. Yeah, I think I gotta show it a bunch of love, man. This should be on the list. This was the beginning of his title reign too, and he's still champ today from this reign, which is really cool to see. Yeah, I'm a Pete Dunne guy, man. Absolutely, I think it should be on the list.
I became a Pete Dunne fan during that tournament, and specifically I remember either shenanigans in his I think it was on the WWE YouTube page or maybe even shown during the tournament. I do not remember, but his altercation with Triple H, and with William Regal and all that other stuff, like just being that badass heel that he was then and continued to be, and this being the start of his title run that still is going on here into 2019. And the match itself, Pete Dunne versus Tyler Bate, was a classic in its own right. There's a story that was told during the match. I would say, for sure, for me, we get a yes vote. And it should be on the list.
I might have to put that one maybe, guys. I'm not gonna lie to you. I want to put it on the list, but there's a couple other matches that we haven't got to yet for Takeover. We're almost halfway through it, but there's a couple other takeovers we got to go through that are really good, man. That has some really good matches. So I'm putting it on the maybe for me. I really like this match, but I don't know if I can put it on the list yet. I gotta go through all these takeovers before I can give a certain yes. Next match. Let me see. Next match we're gonna get into is AOP versus DIY. The breakup of the tag team at the end of this match and the injury, the first injury for Tommaso Ciampa. Incredible match. I mean, this was an incredible match. People absolutely were behind DIY 110%. I mean, the crowd was so behind them, and then they lost. And like, they lost. And then nobody really knew he was hurt in that match. And then afterwards, the whole breakup thing, people were like, "What? What's going on?" Oh man, great match. This was they built up to one of the best feuds ever in NXT history. What do you guys thought on AOP versus DIY? You guys know.
Oh man, I'm sorry. This is Takeover Chicago still.
Yeah,
that's a really good match for storytelling and everything else. Does it make the top 10 though? I think no. I think it's a solid no though for me. Not that it's a bad match at all, but it told a great story. I like the spot even where AOP were throwing the ladder into like Gargano's head and Tommaso takes it for him. And they're trying to sacrifice so much to win the belts, but it's still not enough to defeat the Authors of Pain. And yeah, it's a good match, but I don't think it's top 10.
I think it was a very good match, let alone a great match. In regards to NXT Takeover Chicago, I see that be the match of the night. But for a top 10 list, I don't think so. I would have to give it a hard no. The story was great, and especially at the end, you have that it was not happening. But there were other, not just again other matches that were better overall, but even other Authors of Pain DIY matches that we already talked about and to continue to talk about in regards to NXT Takeover that were better than this match in its own right. So for that reason, reasons I say no for putting it on the list.
All right, so we're gonna move on to NXT Takeover Brooklyn 3. This is probably my least favorite Brooklyn show. I think this was like my least favorite one. We had Drew McIntyre versus Bobby Roode on the show. We had Authors of Pain versus Sanity. Asuka versus Ember Moon for the Women's Championship. What was the other match on the show? You guys remember the other match on the show?
McIntyre Roode.
I said that one already.
Aleister Black against Hideo Itami.
Okay, yeah, Aleister Black and Hideo Itami. I remember that one. This is when Undisputed Era made the debut. This one Undisputed Era.
Did you mention Cien Almas versus Gargano?
Was this on Takeover Brooklyn?
Mm-hmm.
Yep, and 3. And then the show started off with Peyton Royce against Sarah Logan.
Yeah,
dark match. That was
I don't remember that. I definitely don't remember the
Those were dark matches.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I don't remember that match. So, this is when Drew McIntyre became the champion of NXT. I think this is when Bobby Roode was on the way out of NXT. That was the main roster. There's nothing on the show that I would put in my top 10. I don't know about you guys, but
same. No, they were kind of spinning. There were injuries at this time. Hideo was in that weird spot where they're trying to turn him heel, but they didn't know really what to do with him. This was a tough time for a lot of different things going on with NXT. I don't think there's anything that's out here. Solid show, but not.
Yeah. So we're gonna move on to the next takeover. Next takeover, War Games 1. The first War Games that came back. Man, that War Games match was incredible. We got to talk about it. War Games. This was also, if I'm not mistaken, the debut of Velveteen Dream, I believe. Am I correct about that? This is his first takeover, wasn't it? Velveteen Dream.
Yes.
Yeah, I think this is when Andrade Cien Almas won the championship because Drew McIntyre got hurt, and I don't know if they called that on the fly or what happened with that because that was a little mismatch. But Takeover War Games match, we had Aleister Black versus Velveteen. That's right, Aleister Black and Velveteen Dream. This is when he wanted Aleister Black to say his name, like say my name. He wouldn't say his name. Really, really good match.
When you started saying that, I wanted to sing Destiny's
Child. Yeah, I know, me too. I had it in my head.
Really good match. Really good match. I like the stuff they did in this match. Wouldn't make my list, but it was a really, really good match. I wouldn't put this on my list for top 10 though. There's just too many other matches that we have to consider this to be on the top 10 list. So I definitely think it deserves to be in the mentions, but I wouldn't put this on my top 10 list yet though.
I get debut for Velveteen Dream, but I don't think it deserves to be on the list. And to be quite honest, for me, I don't even believe that it deserves to be in the mentions. So for me, it would be a hard pass no for Aleister Black versus Velveteen Dream.
I definitely think it deserves to be in the mentions. This is a really good match.
All right, yeah. Well, I'm just saying it at my end. You know, that's
yeah.
But yeah, that's pretty much all I really need to say about that.
Oh, hell no. Nah. This match is definitely should probably be considered, at least considered. I think that this was the Velveteen Dream's first breakout performance. The whole Say My Name. I thought this match was 10 times better than anything I expected it to be. The Velveteen Dream delivered. Because you got to remember, he was Patrick Clark before this. And he was just debuting. And I'm like, yo, who's this Fruity Prince dude?
Trust me, I remember, yeah.
Yeah. I thought this was very well done. And Aleister Black was an unstoppable machine at the time. And then you've got some rookie coming in here like, yeah, you need to respect me. It's like, who are you, dude? And then I'm like, oh, man, you're not going to be able to pull this off correctly. They did a lot of good stuff in here with the emotions and playing off of how to do things. The Velveteen Dreams attire with was it Aleister Black and him were both on the attires, right?
Yeah.
And he's progressed ever since then. I think this is it needs to be on the list. I really do. It's a great match when you go back and think about it. Even him kicking out of some of the moves that Aleister Black had defeated people with at the time.
I definitely think it deserves to be in the mentions. Top 10, though, I don't know, man. There's a lot of other matches I would put over this, personally. Like the Sami Zayn, I would put the Sami Zayn and Neville match over this one if we had to put it on the list. So, I definitely think it deserves to be in the mention. So I'll put it down for the mention. Then we got the NXT Takeover War Games match, which was Undisputed Era versus AOP and Roderick Strong versus Sanity. Really, really good match. Really solid match. I don't think this was better than the War Games match they had this year at Takeover, the previous one, last year, 2018. I thought it was a really good match.
Last year's War Games is over this one?
I think the War Games match, like the War Games, the match in general, was better than the one this one, yeah.
Yeah, this is tough. I don't know. Because I like this one, too.
I would have to pass on this one. If I'm being honest, I think I had to pass on this one. What do you guys think?
What do you guys remember from this match? Like, refresh my memory. I know they had the big suplex spot with, I think it was Roddy and
well, I mean, this is when Undisputed Era was still trying to get Roderick Strong to join the group, and he was saying no, I don't want to be in the group, yada yada yada. And then he did the whole thing with AOP. Sanity was trying to prove their spot as like the best team in NXT at the time. And then Undisputed Era, I think they were the champions at the time. This is when I believe this is when Bobby Fischer got hurt, so he wasn't like this.
Do you remember the memes at the time when it was like AOP and then Roderick Strong came out with like the AOP gear on? It's like when you and your homeboy are trying to go out, your mom says you gotta bring your little brother with you. And it's Roderick Strong smiling like, yeah.
Right.
I had to pass on this match, man, to be honest. I'm gonna have to start being harsh and pass on some matches, so I'm gonna have to pass on this one.
I think you have to consider it. I think, man. This has two really good matches, and I think it's that Aleister Black one and Velveteen Dream, and this one right here, the Undisputed Era versus Authors of Pain and Roderick Strong and Sanity or whatever it was. They had 3 teams in it.
Right.
I don't know, man. That's good stuff, man. But is it good enough to be on the list? I think we should at least consider it. That's my opinion on it.
For me, I put it on high consideration, bordering on putting on the list. Though my vote will go with consideration, putting it on consideration, and even just everything you guys already said. Just to add on with how the match finished, with Hogue hitting Young with a gun stick and then performing Shining Wizard onto that steel chair to win the match. Onto ice steel chair, not the steel chair. Ice steel chair for the win the match, and just how that match was even exciting for me to see a War Games match since that was the first one, and having been reminded of what War Games was and this and that, and not really knowing very well, at least individually myself, the history of what War Games was, and some of you and otherwise that. What's this match going to be about? Is it going to be just a cluster mess of superstars? Will it be able to live the hype of the superstars we have in the match? Right, we have great teams and these three teams in this match. You think you have the great performers to do it right, but I was just worried that with having so many superstars in the ring, and even for a guy like me that people know that love multi-superstar matches, was worried at the time of will it be able to deliver as much as I was hoping for it did, and I think it did plus 10, even more so. So for me, I say strong consideration.
All right, I put it down for consideration.
Before we get into the next year, what's on the list right now?
We have 3 matches. Sasha and Bayley take over Brooklyn. Shinsuke Nakamura, Sami Zayn take over Dallas, and then DIY versus Revival 2 out of 3 Falls. So we have 3 matches.
Okay. All right. This is going to be rough, man. There's a lot of consideration.
Next takeover is Takeover Philadelphia. We have 2 matches that I think we should talk about. There was also another good match. Shayna Baszler and Ember Moon was a good match. And then we had Authors of Pain versus Undisputed Era. I think this is when Undisputed Era took the titles, became champions for the first time. This is when AOP was on the way out of the NXT on the roster. The 2 matches we got to talk about is Adam Cole versus Aleister Black in that street fight. Jesus, man, that match was. This one's gonna start getting tough, man. That's what I'm telling you guys, man. You guys want to put that war game stuff in there, but these matches, these takeovers were gonna come up, man. There's some good matches.
Here's the weird thing with War Games is War Games reminds me of I'm trying to think of another match I used this for. Kind of like a Hell in a Cell, stuff like that. It's you have to try to have a bad match when it comes to that. Like it's not gonna be bad. There's so much carnage and chaos, and you only see it once a year. So you're gonna automatically be like, yo, this is really good. This is fun.
Yeah.
Just like or at least I would say, you were talking about Hell in a Cell. I was going to bring up my first thought was to elimination chamber matches.
You're just in a different environment. That's why I'm like, I don't think we can discount the War Games matches either like that because
on its basis, yeah.
All right, so Adam Cole, Aleister Black, thoughts?
It's a no for me, man. I like the match. I thought it was really good, very well done. I love how they played off of everything, but I just don't think it's top 10. I think it was really good for this show. And like I said, if we had to do a sleeper countdown, I think this would be when I would say, hey, we got to consider this.
Yeah, I agree definitely in regards to sleeper countdown list that this would be Aleister Black Cole would be on it. But even in regards to the show itself being a sleeper, because I don't think it was even the strongest of the show on its own. This NXT Philadelphia show on its own accord. So for that as well, I say a hard pass no to be on the list.
All right, main event: Andrade Cien Almas and Johnny Gargano. What'd you say?
Was that match on yours?
No.
Okay.
Andrade Cien Almas versus Johnny Gargano. This was actually the match of the year for NXT for last year, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong about that, but I think it won match of the year. Bro, we're talking about a match too. This match is unbelievable. This is one I really this is when Andrade Cien Almas I felt like was coming into his peak because before he was wearing the suspenders and all that ridiculous stuff. And even with the whole Drew McIntyre match, Drew McIntyre got hurt, so it was kind of like the match was kind of I want to say it's disappointing, but it kind of had it in early because the man got hurt, and I don't even know if Andrade was even supposed to win that match if he didn't get hurt. You know what I mean? So this match, though, man. Honestly, this would be on my list. I would have this on my list. I really love this match. This is when Johnny Takeover was, this is when he was starting to come in like that's the man for Takeover. You know what I mean? Like every match at Takeover, he was having the matches of the night. So, what do you guys think about this match?
It's yours first, Steve. I wait.
Well, for me, I would say that it should be on the list. I think this is for sure where Cien Almas arrives for me. Though I was happy when he won the NXT title from Drew McIntyre, but even as Malik was saying, he was injured. Did we really believe that did I even at the time believe that would he have won if he didn't get injured? Let alone how long he would actually be holding the NXT title. And I thought here heading into this match that he probably was going to lose. And I'm sure if I did predictions back then, or even just last year, a couple of years, I didn't do predictions for the NXT Takeover shows, though I was watching them each time. That I probably would have predicted Johnny Gargano to win and win the title. But I think Andrade Cien Almas arriving the match itself, wrestling, I think all of that conversing for me would say yes, it should be on the list.
I'm gonna say yes, but I want to talk about one thing from this. Was this match of the year to you guys?
Me? No, it's definitely a match of the year to me. For me, I mean, top three. You're talking about top three, yeah. It was top three for NXT, but
yeah, I just don't think that this was the match of the year, and I'll get into that later.
Yeah, the match of the year. We kind of we know what the match of the year was. We got to be on the same page for that one.
Yeah,
I know what I thought match of the year was. So
me too, and.
But this was definitely top three for NXT that year.
Yeah, it's got to be on the list. I'm just going to leave it at that. This was a really good match, I thought.
And this was a lot better than I thought people thought it was going to be because, like I said, I think this is when Andrade. I think this is when people really started liking him. Like, okay, this guy is really, really good. Like, this guy can actually go.
Because Andrade was feeling the momentum with him. I think you saw it in that first Gargano Almas match where they were kind of, putting Almas over a little bit. Gargano's doing a storyline of getting into the funk because Ciampa's gone. He doesn't know what to do. He fought Pete Dunne. He lost to Pete Dunne too on one of those, like they record all the matches before.
Yeah.
This was really good though. Almas came into his own, like you said, right here. And I think this is when everybody was like, yeah, this dude's going to be great. Even though he had the ups and downs with the entire WWE corporation or company.
Yeah, so we have Andrade Cien Almas so we got that on the card. Next takeover.
Oh, this is the big GG. This is where it gets real now.
Yeah, this is the best takeover to me ever. An NXT takeover New Orleans. There are 3 matches that I wrote down. This was a really good show too. I want to mention the Shayna Baszler and Maroon match. I don't have it down, but it was a really really good match. I like anytime they ever made Shayna Baszler lose though, they always made it look good too. So I always liked that because she was always. I always felt like she was one of the females that was just like she was legit badass. Like she's a legit badass. Like Ronda Rousey. Like if she's a heel, she's legit badass. So it's like I love Shayna Baszler. I love this match. But this ladder match, we got to talk about this ladder match because this ladder match was absolutely incredible. This ladder match that started off the show with EC3 making his debut, Ricochet making his debut. You had Velveteen Dream, you had Killian Dane, and you had Lars Sullivan. This ladder match, oh man, it's on my list. I'm just gonna be real with you. I had this on my list. I definitely have this on my list. This is an incredible match. I was actually watching this. I think I was FaceTiming Rambo. Me and Rambo were like FaceTiming. We were like losing our minds in this match. Like, Jesus, this is an incredible match. And this is like I said, this was EC3's debut and Ricochet's debut too. So it was like, man, you knew if anybody knew anything about Ricochet, you knew something. Like, all right, this guy in this match, he's jumping off ladders, he's jumping off all types of stuff here, all types of flips. That Velveteen Dream elbow from the top rope from that ladder was incredible. Even Killian Dane, I was like, at first I was kind of like, man, I think they could have put like Eric Young or somebody in this match. But Killian Dane, man, was really good in this match for what they did. He was really, really good in this match. Him and Lars Sullivan, to me, this is when I kind of got behind Lars Sullivan too. I was like, I like this Lars Sullivan guy. He can do stuff, man. So, what do you guys think about this ladder match?
Freaking dope, man. I love so many things in this. Ricochet doing the flip when he's about to get dumped out. I'm with you. The Lars Sullivan won me over in this match because I wasn't the biggest Lars Sullivan guy before this. Killian Dane, beast. Everybody shined in this match just enough. Even Velveteen surprised me in this match because I'm like, he's done good in regular matches and telling the story. How's he going to handle being in a ladder match? That elbow off the top is definitely something that could be in like future video packages, like how Sean jumping off on Razor. Yeah, he was over the title when he did that. Like, that's nuts. I say it's on, man. You got it.
It's on my list too. It's on my list. What do you think, Steve?
I agree. Man, make it 3 for 3. I agree. It should be on the list. I know heading into the match, my excitement for EC3 and his debut because I did watch him and see him over at TNA or Impact Wrestling, whatever they call themselves now. But I think I was most looking forward to EC3 more so than seeing Ricochet or Velveteen Dream. Killian Dane, Lars Sullivan, and the rest that were in the match. But everyone did deliver, to include Velveteen Dream. I give the man the respect that is due to him.
Oh, and
I haven't been that big a fan of Velveteen Dream overall. He's not really my cup of tea, specifically with character. It seems a little whatever. But in the ring, especially in that match, to crown inaugural NXT North American champion, Velveteen Dream did show me something in that match. But overall, I do agree with you guys. The match should be on the list. I vote yes for it to be on the list.
One thing I gotta mention, I didn't even mention Adam Cole. He's the one who won the match, Adam Cole. So I didn't even mention his name. I'm tripping off that one. So he's the one who won the match. So this match was absolutely great. Definitely has to be on my list. Another match I want to talk about on Aleister Black versus Andrade Cien Almas. Great match. I wouldn't have this on my list, but I definitely deserve to mention it. It was a really, really great match. This is when Aleister Black took the championship from Andrade. Like I said, this is when Andrade was starting. He was putting on some good matches, man, for NXT his last little run there. So, what do you guys think about this match?
I thought it was really well done. I like the finish to this match, especially with Aleister finally hitting that black mass to win the belt. Because they had me doubting a little bit. That's another really good thing about these NXT Takeover matches. You're sitting there and you're starting to say, man, I thought this was going to be a layup, but maybe, just maybe, because every NXT card has that one match. So I've done predictions for all of these. Did you guys, let me ask you this. Did you get the ladder match prediction right?
No.
I don't think I did either.
No, I picked, I think I picked Velveteen Dream.
I think I did too. I'll have to go back and look, but I know I got
Adam
that
Cole
wrong.
was my second pick, though. I was like, Adam Cole, Velveteen Dream, but I had to pick one, so I was like, I think
Adam Cole was in my top 3 for winning it, but I was just like, I don't think he's gonna do it.
Yeah.
But dude, really, really good match with Alistair and Andrade. Dope match, but I don't think it should be on the list. I think it just misses.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. This is the list, but really great match. I mean, it was close for me to be in consideration, but with all the other matches that we've already talked about, let alone still having to talk about, I don't see it making the list. So for me, I give it a no.
All right, but this next match, though, guys, if this ain't on the list, we're gonna have a problem for it. This is definitely on my list. I mean, you talking about this to me was the match of the year. I don't know if Conrad you agree with this one, but this to me was the match of the year.
No, you can go on my Twitter. I voted for this to win match of the year.
Johnny Gargano versus Tommaso Ciampa. This match, everything about this match, the storytelling, the finish when he took this knee brace and he put it over his face and everything. Oh man, the storytelling about it. I love the spot in the match. I think Conrad mentioned it. Like maybe last week when they're both kind of sitting in the ring and they kind of sitting with each other like a little sword. You're like, oh, Johnny's gonna go do it. Come on, man! Like, don't hit him with the thing, and they swerved a lot of people in this match. It was a really, 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 really good match, man. It's definitely got to be on my list, no question.
Same thing you just said. You've hit the nail right on the head. I thought it was the best match. I think it's the best match that those two put on together. I think it told a hell of a story, and I was really looking forward to this other match between them, and now that's not happening. So I'm kind of bummed out about that, but great story. I love, and look at how many NXT takeovers ago we were talking about them turning on each other.
Mm-hmm.
Super dope. Everything you said is right. It's got to be on my list.
Everything Malik said, everything Conrad said, I echo as well. Don't need to ramble about it again and reiterate it. I agree. Definitely should be on the list.
All right, I'm writing it down now. Like I said, out of the 3 matches they had, this is to me was my favorite one. Still, all 3 of the matches they have are great, by the way, no question. But I mean, this was to me was the best one. It's kind of always, I feel like when you have a trilogy of matches, it's always kind of, if you really have a first classic match, it's always kind of hard to top the next one. You know what I mean? It's like with Shawn Undertaker WrestleMania. Like, okay, they had a rematch that was really good, but it's like, come on, were they really gonna top that one at 25? It's impossible. The match was so good. It's like, what can you possibly do that they haven't done? So this match definitely has to make the list. And another thing I like about this is when like Tommaso Ciampa wasn't coming out with music. So like he would just come out with no music, and people were just firing all types of shots at him, and the crowd was just straight on him. Great stuff. Next takeover is NXT Takeover Chicago. The tag team match I want to talk about because it was really, really good. I didn't know too much about the Danny Burch and Oney Larkin. I didn't really know too much about them in NXT because I didn't really watch them that much. But my God, this match they had with Undisputed Era was really, really good. What do you guys think about this
match? Wait a minute. Was that other tag match on the last NXT? That was in New Orleans, right? With Roddy?
No, this is when Takeover New Orleans, the tag team. I think it was Pete Dunne. This was like I think it was the Pete Dunne, Roderick Strong. This is when Roderick Strong turned and joined the Undisputed Era. So this is where like he was teaming up with Pete Dunne, and they were facing AOP, and then it was that.
Oh yes, that was that.
Was classic. That's what classic.
Right now, that was at New Orleans when he turned. So Roderick Strong is now part of the Undisputed Era at this point.
Yeah. Everything about this card was great. So I mean, this whole card was great, but Oney Larkin and Danny Burch didn't know too much about them. So I didn't really watch them that much in NXT, but they impressed me in this match. I really love this tag team match.
They were enhancement talents too, though, that really came up and did some things. Like Oney Larkin, even in that Cruiserweight Classic match that just happened for the tournament, he made it to the semifinals. He put on some damn good matches with people. Oney Larkin's really good. Danny Burch, I love them. I hope that they finally get a chance to establish themselves with some of the other teams who have been kind of waiting for a while to get their chance. Really good match, not top 10 worthy, but I think it definitely deserves the nod. Kyle O'Reilly and Roderick Strong, there are so many good Undisputed Era tag matches, dude, that it's going to be hard to keep ignoring them.
Yeah. What do you think about that one, Steve? That tag team match.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. Sorry, I was away for a short minute, but anyways, I did enjoy it, and I thought it was definitely match of the night in regards to the NXT Takeover show. But overall, for NXT best NXT Takeover matches, I would have to say a no for making it on or to be made on the list. I just don't think it was a strong enough match for me to warrant and deserving to
All
be
right.
on the list.
The next match we got is Ricochet versus Velveteen Dream. Really, really good match. I mean, this was expected. This is like one of the most high anticipated matches for the show. Thoughts on this one match?
Very sleeper of a match. Like it was in the middle of the card. You didn't know how well it was gonna do. And then once again, contrast in styles with Ricochet being so flashy and the buildup. I'm sure everybody has seen the buildup where Ricochet flips outside of the ring to accept Velveteen Dream's challenge, and Velveteen's looking all crazy. Really good. I don't think it's top 10 worthy, but freaking good match.
It certainly did deliver Ricochet and Velveteen Dream, but I agree with Connor. I don't believe it is strong enough to make it to the list. So I say no for the top 10 list.
And then the last match was Tommaso Ciampa, Johnny Gargano again, and the street fights, which was another really, really good match these guys put on. What do you guys thoughts on this one, man? This is a tough one.
It's good, man. I think at least consideration for anytime you hear Johnny Gargano, Tommaso Ciampa, it might as well just be consideration at this point.
Yeah, true. I do agree on that. I would say it put it in consideration, though I was close to saying that it should be a no, only in regards to the fact of that it have to be automatic with these two to have them on the list, especially with we don't want to alienate the list by just thinking of those two and feeling that if any match they were part of or their match they were to be on the list, but their matches have delivered, which is why we say that, which is why Conrad said what he said. In regards to Yava Ciampa Gargano match, it should be considered, and I agree. So in that vein, the Chicago street fight, I say it should be my vote consideration, at least consideration for the list.
I have some comments on this already for my group, and somebody said I better hear Johnny Gargano's name at least 4 times.
Well, there you go.
we're still going through Gargano's matches.
Oh no, but they think that they did their own, I guess, and they think that Gargano's name should at least pop up 3 to 4 times.
Okay.
We're gonna see about that. We're gonna see about that. So let's go to back. Next takeover, NXT Takeover Brooklyn 4. This is my favorite Brooklyn show, by the way. I thought this was the best Brooklyn show they did. I really like this show. Undisputed Era versus Mustache Mountain. Incredible. Like just like Conrad said, man, we're gonna have to talk about Undisputed Era because this tag team match was also a incredible tag team match. This tag team match was absolutely amazing. I definitely think at least deserved to be in consideration to me, in my opinion. I mean, this match was absolutely incredible. What do you guys think?
I'm trying. What was the finish to this one? Because I remember they had the match. Is this the throw in the towel?
No, this was the different one. This is when they actually beat Mustache Mountain 1, 2, 3.
Like the rematch, right? To finally decide it all.
No, this was the first. This was the first match they had. Like this is the first one.
Oh, okay. Yes, then this was good. So this is before they had the UK.
Yeah.
Dude, this is a good one. I think it's got to be considered. I think it really does. For Undisputed Era is too good of a tag team. Like that Roderick Strong. I don't know would this happen if it was Bobby Fish? I don't know. But
That's what I'm thinking, yeah, because Roderick Strong carried that load for Bobby Fish while he was on with that injury.
Right.
Yeah, dude, this makes a lot of sense. I'm with you. I think it's strong consideration for that match.
Actually, consideration as well. I wasn't too fancy or big in Mustache Mountain when I debuted, and figured how this team really gonna get over for me, let alone get over the W Universe overall. They did, of course, but I thought more highly of them even in defeats here, facing Undisputed Era, even to the point where I was predicting them to win the tag team titles. But for that and for the match itself, I do say that it should be considered and strong consideration for the top 10 list.
All right, we got another match though. We got Adam Cole versus Ricochet for the North American Championship. This was another great match too. So I mean,
dude, I just think of one spot when I hear this match: that backflip into that super kick. Oh, that was so
beauty,
bad, dude. Oh man, it's got to be considered, man. It's got to be. Like, I don't want to keep saying that, but it's gonna pop up. This is a really good match. Come on,
I agree.
man.
I agree. I say consideration.
All right.
This
Another
isn't
match.
gonna be a bad list. Like, I'm not worried about that.
Another match I want to mention is Shayna Baszler and Kairi Sane, which was a really good match. This is when I think this is when Shayna had her in that move and she flipped over and pinned her like 1, 2, 3. Really, it was like a really fast finish. She's like bam, like you were kind of like, whoa, what just happened? Like
Bret Hart, Roddy Piper finish.
Yeah,
Yep.
it was really, really good. Thought they told a great story of that match, really good match. But then we got the next match. Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa in the last man standing match again. It's got to be considered. I mean, it has to be considered, yeah.
Consider. I thought Johnny was actually going to win at one point.
I did too. I was like,
A couple of times I thought and was hoping
he might win. But see, I don't know, man. I'm a Tommaso Ciampa guy. I like Tommaso Ciampa, so I was rooting for him. I want him to keep the belt.
See, I'm a Gargano guy, and I absolutely I agree. I think what Steve said was right, though. Tommaso is definitely like a heel, and you always felt it. Like as soon as, even in the Cruiserweight Classic, and you're watching those matches, you're just like, oh, Ciampa's just such a scumbag. You know he's going to be the one to do something dirty. It's kind of like when you used to think Dean Ambrose was going to turn on the Shield first. When they were all first together, you were like, Ambrose is the dirtbag. You can't trust him.
Yeah, man, it was Seth Rollins. So yeah. It's got to be in the consideration, though. I mean,
if you, like I said, if you see their names together, it's got to be at this point.
Yeah.
Write down. Did I have no more room on the paper for consideration? So I have to write down like this little spot in the corner. Next takeover.
Oh, this is another
Takeover War Games. Shayna Baszler and Kairi Sane have put on another great match. I thought too. They put on another great match. They always had good chemistry, I thought, in the ring. By the way, they were another good match. But then you had Aleister Black and Johnny Gargano. This match told a great story. This is when Gargano was turning. It was kind of on the down roll. He was kind of the heel stuff. I liked this match, especially the finish. My God, those black matches he took, man. Much respect for that, Johnny. He took some good shots for that one.
They told a great story with this. Dude, when you look at 3 matches on this card, if you said any of them were match of the night, normally it's down to like 2 or there's one clear one. This is the first time I've ever been so conflicted that I'm like, dude, there's 3 matches of the nights. I was watching this, I think, in a PlayStation chat with my boy Kev, and we were going nuts for 3 matches. And everyone's like, what is going on? I'm like, you've got to see these matches. You've got to see what's happening. It's crazy. And Johnny doing the whole fake, like, oh, I'm your friend, Aleister, you could trust me. And he just suckered him in so many times. But I love this match, but I don't know if I can put it. These will all be considerations. I'm sorry. I can't disrespect. I can't.
All right, another consideration.
I just said it's for the rest of them, and I know what your other ones are. I know.
All right, so I'm putting the consideration. The next match is the War Games match with Pete Dunne, Ricochet, and the War Raiders versus the Undisputed Era. It was just the 2 teams. This to me was the best. This to me, War Games match is better than the one they had the first one. To me, in my opinion, I like this War Games match a lot. This thing was just absolutely incredible. I mean, this match was absolutely amazing. The spots they had in this match were great. That freaking Ricochet doing that double backflip off the
Yeah, that would be
like Jesus. This guy can't. What can this guy not do? This guy is absolutely unbelievable.
I love the story even going into it with Pete Dunne. Pete Dunne being injured, and he actually had a real injury, if you guys didn't know, during that time with his leg.
Yeah.
And Pete Dunne sold it. He took a beat down. They even did the thing where they threw the key into the crowd. The refs go and get the bolt cutters, and really good match. Like I said, considered for me.
same for me. Consideration there. Aleister Black, Johnny Gargano, I would say consideration, though I don't think I spoke on it. But here for the War Games, I do say, though, the first War Games match, overall, for me personally, I enjoyed more. But this one definitely was dang close, of course, with some of the spots in just the match itself. And War Raiders also, how many things as well, how good they were, bigger superstars, and holding their own with the young and nimble and, kind of other stars that were in the match. So I think overall it was great, and definitely say consideration for the list.
All right, and the last takeover. NXT
Whoa,
Takeover.
whoa, 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 whoa! You forgot a match.
Whoa, whoa, whoa! What? Which one?
Velveteen Dream, Tommaso Ciampa. I was
Mm,
losing my mind during this match. There were some good near falls here where they teased like you thought it was over, and then all of a sudden, Tommaso's boots coming off. Velveteen Dream hits that elbow drop. I swear to you, I thought we had a new NXT champion when he hit that elbow. Like, go back and watch that match and tell me during that moment you did not believe Tommaso's missing a shoe already.
yep, yep.
You remember that spot? Dude,
Yes,
that's
sir.
freaking great. They did some good stuff, even to the outside, diving, jumping over the table with each other. I just went back and rewatched this just to see if I wanted to say something like this great about it during it. And I think I have to.
Steve,
I mean, I remember how good it was when I was rewatching it, especially that spot he was talking about the elbow drop and just feeling it again, like, oh, we think, or I think he's gonna win this, even though you're rewatching it, you already know what happened, just in that moment again, that Velveteen Dream is really gonna become the NXT champion, and then Ciampa kicks out. So I say for that match, would put it into consideration for the list. Actually, I think it was that strong of a match to be part of the top 10 list, just because of the near fall, and especially that one spot specifically in regards to Velveteen Dream. Again, like I said, I respect the guy, respect the character. Might not be one of my favorites, but that match I think should be in consideration.
all right, I wrote down for consideration. Next takeover, we got the NXT Takeover Phoenix.
Hold on, what's your thoughts on that match? Do you remember it? Come on.
It's not on my list. I didn't have it on my list, but I wrote it down for you guys.
But do you like that match though? I
love the match. I love the match, but I didn't put it on my. I wouldn't have when I wrote it down. I was like, it's not making my list, so I skipped it because it's not gonna make my list. But you guys want any consideration, so I'll put it down for consideration. But I love that match though. Really good match. Takeover Phoenix though. We had War Raiders with Undisputed Era, which was the opening match of the show. Really, really good tag team match. You always get mad in the game how War Raiders doing all this stuff, but they do that stuff in real life. They do some of those flips and stuff like they do in real life. So
oh yeah, it just makes me angry though to see big dudes who can't be stopped to do whatever they want. I'm like, come on, man.
Really, really good match. I didn't think War Raiders was gonna win. To be honest, I thought Undisputed Era was gonna win. I like War Raiders, so I wasn't mad at the finish. What do you guys thought on this match?
Very good. Like I said, Undisputed Era had a lot of matches that you could consider putting on this list. I think this is no different. I like this match a lot.
I agree. I definitely say it should be a consideration, if not strong consideration, to be part of the top 10. I mean, for me, in regards to the War Raiders, they showed improvement, at least to me, their time as a tag team, and what they showed during War Games match, be part of that. There were War Games 2. So War Raiders winning the title, I was surprised as well. But overall, I do think that this match deserves to be in consideration to be in the top 10 list.
Another consideration. All right, let me write it down.
Bro, this is about to I'm telling you, this is gonna be hard at this point because there are some classics on these. There's some bangers that you can't deny. I forgot that this women's title match was even on here.
Oh yeah. I was just looking at that one yet to bring up later.
Yeah, Bianca Belair and Shayna Baszler, really, really good match. Johnny Gargano versus Ricochet for the North American Championship. Really, really good match.
Just put it on.
Really, really good match. Johnny finally winning the championship. After he had a bad year at Takeover. He had great Takeover matches. Didn't really win most of them. I think he won one of them last year. What do you guys thought on this match? Ricochet versus Johnny Gargano.
Love it. Really good. I thought that was match of the night for this show.
Yeah, I agree, and I definitely think it should be on the list. I would vote yes to put it on the list.
And I love how it ended with a DDT, and he kind of had to do some heelish things to finally get the win.
Yeah, I do too. I've listened to that too.
Great storytelling.
So what do you guys thought on? What did you guys say? I know Steve said yes. What do you say, Conrad?
I think it's worthy of consideration right now. I know we're gonna have some options to play around with here, so
Yeah, I do too. So consideration, dude. These considerations are ridiculous. Got so many.
Laundry list.
I don't have space. And then we have Tommaso Ciampa versus Aleister Black in the main event.
I didn't like this one really.
I wouldn't put it there. I wouldn't put it on my list. So I thought
Yeah,
it
I
was.
wouldn't be on
I,
my
mean,
list
I like the
either.
match. I like the match. I wouldn't put it on my list, but I thought it was a decent match for what it was.
All right, that was it.
But definitely wouldn't make my list. But we've gone through all the takeovers. They're all gone through. We've gone through all of them. Thank God we didn't. We did it before the next takeover. Otherwise, we'd be doing some more consideration. So
For the WrestleManias, woo!
we have 6 on the list so far. We have Sasha and Bailey take over Brooklyn, Shinsuke Nakamura, Sami Zayn take over Dallas, DIY Revival 2 out of 3 falls take over Toronto, Andrade versus Cianos versus Johnny Gargano take over Philadelphia, 6-man ladder match take over New Orleans, and Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa take over New Orleans. Now we got to go back to all these considerations that we mentioned. Just so I can home.
How do you want to dwindle this list down? Because we're gonna have to like crush.
Dude, no, we have to cut. Y'all gotta grow some. We gotta cut some of these out, dude. Because there's a lot of considerations in here, so we gotta cut some of these out.
How about while you go through and name them, we start considering our top 5, and then we'll see if we agree on anything. Because then we'll be like, well, it's got to be on the list if we agree.
Dude, there's 19 considerations, bro. We gotta cut. We gotta start cutting.
We
gotta narrow it down to. We only got 4 spots left, so let's narrow it down to 5. Let's go back to Sami Zayn versus Cesaro. Take over Arrival, since that was the first consideration we did. What do you guys thoughts on this one?
Oh man, why are we talking about this like this, man? Don't make me do this to my boy Sammy and Cesaro.
This is on my list, dude. I had it on my list, so I'm saying yes.
And it's on my list because it's done in all in regards to being the first part of the first NXT show.
This is like the first, this is the first great takeover match we saw, so I had to.
You want to show respect to what started it all in regards to main events.
I have it on my list.
You're not getting me, bro. There's too many other good matches. I'm not ready for it. I'm not ready to take it off, but I'm not ready to say yes to it.
All right, Paige versus Emma. What you guys thoughts on this one? I would cut it, me personally.
I think he can make the cuts.
Yeah, I think it has to go. I mean, I loved it, but yeah.
Cutting it, putting the X next to it. Neville versus Tyson Kidd versus Sami Zayn versus Tyler Breeze in the Fatal 4-Way. I would cut it.
I love it, but cut it.
Yep, got it.
All right, Sami Zayn versus Neville for the NXT NXT Championship match. Woo, man! This is Sami Zayn versus Neville. This is when the whole Kevin Owens thing went down after everything.
Oh boy! Oh.
I don't think I'm ready to cut this one either. I think we might have to.
Yeah, I really
save it.
Still believe strongly on that one to be on the list.
We got 2 Sami Zayns that are moving on, then, right?
Yeah, Sasha Banks versus Becky versus Charlotte versus Bailey in the Fatal 4 match. What do you guys think about this one?
For Horseman and Fatal 4, I do feel we should still keep it in consideration.
I think so too. I'm not ready to cut this one yet. I don't know why. It's like the bronze medal. Like it's tugging at my heart. Like, don't let me go just yet. Please, please, please.
I'm not ready to cut this one. Sasha versus Bailey in the Iron Woman match. I think we gotta cut it. Sorry.
Yeah, I love the match, but it was kind of a predictable outcome and a little too much for me.
Cut it.
All right, American Alpha versus the Revival at Takeover Dallas. I would cut this one. I'm being honest. I would cut it. I think I have to cut it. Looking at the rest of the matches in the card, I have to cut it.
I agree. I probably in my head.
Great match, but
my heart's trying to tell me like to keep it, but yeah, I would probably have to agree. Cut it.
Yeah, cut that one.
All right. Pete Dunne versus Tyler Bate.
I'm letting it happen. I wrote that down as my first one. Like, yo, it's got to be on this list.
I think we have to keep it.
Yep, keep it.
It has to be kept. Aleister Black versus Velveteen Dream.
Dude, that's a really good match.
I have to cut that one, man. I have to cut it.
You don't think it was good enough?
No, I don't. I can't put that over Sami Zayn and Cesaro. I think that match.
I would cut it.
Man, I
For
think
me,
you
at
guys
least.
are sleeping on that one a little bit.
It's a great match, but top 10 though, I can't put him in the top 10.
All right, choice.
I won't put up the fight for it. It's gone.
So we cutting it, we keeping it. What do you want to do?
Cut it, man.
All right.
There's too many good ones on here. There's certain ones I just can't let go.
War Games, the first War Games match. Cutting it, keeping it.
Cut it.
I would cut it.
Got it.
I don't. Here's the thing that hurts that match to me is the randomness of the teams.
Yeah. Street fight with Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa. I would cut this one. I think this was my least favorite match they had. I like the last man standing match better than this one, and I like the first match they had better than this one too. So I would have to let this one go. As much as I love the match, I had to let it go.
I agree.
Yeah, same.
Got it.
Whoo! We could have Johnny Gargano match.
Well, no, and you know what? You don't want to look like a meat writer either. Like if you're like, we can't have this. This is the Johnny Gargano list.
Yeah, that's not a yeah.
Undisputed Era versus Mustache Mountain. Oh man, this is a tough one for me, dude. This was a great match. I love this match a lot. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, I thought highly of it, but just in regards to all the other matches we have on our list of consideration, I would say cut it.
I don't know, man.
Dude, I think this might be up there with the DIY Toronto match. Like
Yeah,
that.
this was a great tag team match, man. A great tag team match. I would say, to me, out of all the matches Undisputed ever had, this is probably my favorite tag team match they had on Takeover.
I think we let it go on to the next round until we decide finally. I think we'll stay.
Ricochet versus Adam Cole in the street fight. Not street fight, but this is a regular match. Sorry. I would cut it.
Cut it.
Got it.
Good match, but not good enough.
Let me see. God, we got other matches. Last man standing match with Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa.
I like it, but I feel like this comes as a package, as one story, and their best story was still at New Orleans. I like it. I love the match, trust me, but I don't know, man. I think it's cut. What do you think, Steve?
Yeah, I was going to originally say to keep it on the list, but what you just said kind of swayed me in regards to the story and just how their feud was in the other match was just better. So I'm going to agree. Go with cut it.
Johnny Gargano versus Ricochet.
Put it on. I think it needs to be moved on to the next.
Steve, what do you say, Steve? I think we should keep it. I think we should keep it.
Move it on. Or keep it on.
Aleister Black versus Johnny Gargano.
Cut.
I would cut it. I would cut it too, Steve. What do you think?
Oh, I so badly don't want to, but consensus rules. I'm going to go with cut it.
Ooh, man. War Games 2, the last War Games match. I would cut it as much as I love that match.
I'm going to say cut it too for the same reason of that War Games card had so many good matches that it kind of takes away from the essence of the other ones.
And I was going to, well, to be quite honest, I was going to say to keep it because of regards to keep a War Games match just for how well both of those War Games matches were. It would be nice to keep one of them, to have them on this great top 10 list, but like you guys said, there are other ones that are better. My vote would have been to keep it, but it's already 2-1. I would say then to let it go and die and cut it.
Velveteen Dream versus Tommaso Ciampa. I said I would cut it.
I could keep
Cut
it.
it.
Oh,
It wasn't on my list, so.
Steve, you hurt me there.
Sorry, bud.
Well, the last one we got is War Raiders versus Undisputed Era. I would cut it. I think the Mustache Mountain match is better than this one.
I do too. I think that Mustache Mountain gave the formula to what they started using with a lot of other teams. I don't know if it was their match or whoever the agent was booking it. Cut it.
Cut it.
All right, so now we narrowed down to
11.
we got 6. We narrowed down to 6.
Oh, 6. Okay. How many spots are open?
We got 4 spots. So 2 are going to get cut and 1 are going to make it. Okay, so Let's go back to Sami Zayn and Cesaro. This is on my list. I'm fighting for this match to be on the list. This is on my list. This was the first takeover. This was an incredible match. I love everything. I love everything.
Should be on the list.
The crazy part, man. Like, if we're still talking about this match, it has to be like some kind of epicness. Like, there has to be something so great about it that we're still like, I don't want to let it go yet. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, we remember it too.
Yeah,
so
yeah. This was like people. Like I said, Sami Zayn was before Johnny Gargano. So I mean, Sami Zayn matches were like before Johnny Gargano with Johnny Takeover. Sami Zayn was Takeover for a while for the matches. So I said this makes the list, man. I gotta say this on my list. It was on my list. Steve, what did you say, Steve?
I said I should make the list. You know, it's the start of the NXT shows. The first main event should be on the list.
I agree. I think it should be on the list.
Oh my gosh. I gotta hear what else is on this list before I say yeah. I'm not ready to cut it yet. I think it's easier to figure out which two I'm gonna cut than this.
Let's see. Sami Zayn versus Neville. Oh man, this is hard, man.
All right. Out of the two, which match do you prefer for Sami Zayn?
Cesaro.
Okay, that says a lot then about it.
I think I like the aftermath of the match better than like the match was great, but what happened afterwards will remember the most about the match. You know what I'm saying?
The story is really good though for that match. Like I remember Zayn getting up and doing the "it's time," like you know.
Yeah. The story. I think people remember the aftermath more. You know, when Kevin Owens turned on him and they powerbombed him in the apron, people were like, "What?" Like it was some crazy stuff. So I think the aftermath is more memorable. The match was great, but I prefer the Cesaro match over the Neville match. So I say we cut it. Sorry, as great as it was, I think we gotta cut it.
God, don't make me do this. I'm with you, man. I'm with you. I think we're gonna have to cut that one. That's why I had to ask the question: which one do you like better?
Yeah. See, this is why I didn't want to put this on the list the first time because you guys wanted to put it on the list. And I was like, no, can't put it on the list yet. But we got to come back to it. We've got a lot of great matches. So Sasha, Becky, Charlotte, and Bayley. You know what? I'm gonna go ahead and say this should be on the list just because this was before the Bayley and Sasha match takeover, and this was, I think, one of the best takeover female matches they've had. I think it has to be on the list.
That was a classic 4-way. I think it has to be on the list as well.
Start of the Women's Evolution. You know, the 4 horsewomen in that match, classic match. People always should remember it. I say it should be on the list.
All right, I'm writing it down on the list. Give me a second.
And think of how crazy this list would be if you did it like 3 years ago. Like Paige and Emma and all of them would definitely be in this spot.
Yeah, right? Dude, there's gonna be matches that a year from now that we're gonna have to consider. Like, all right, we're gonna look at this list and be like, all right, I'm gonna take that one off. You know what I mean? This match might be better than this one. So
this could always be redone.
So
yeah, never.
Never know. Let's see. So I had that on the list. Pete Dunne versus Tyler Bate. Oh my gosh, dude.
I'm arguing this. Hell no. That was great, dude. That was considered match of the year. That was a great match, dude.
I say it should be on the list.
I don't know, dude, man. If Sami Zayn's dog can't make the list, I can't put it on the list, man. I can't.
No. See, now I gave in. No, I'm not. I'm fighting for this one. Pete Dunne, Tyler Bate was 5 stars, dude.
So was Sami Zayn and Cesaro though. 5 stars, man.
Dude, I'm down with Cesaro making it. I'm cool with that. I think this match should be in there too, though.
But you weren't debating on the same. Like, I gotta come back to it. I like Tyler Bate versus Pete Dunne.
I just wasn't ready to say yeah. That's all. That's it. But this is down. Like, yeah, this match has to be on there.
All right, so Sami Zayn and Cesaro on the list, and Pete Dunne, Tyler Bate on the list.
Yes.
All right.
Damn, we got 3. So wait, what are we cutting then? What's still left right now?
We got one spot left. Let me get to it in a second. We got one spot left for the list. Sami Zayn, Cesaro, and then Tyler Bate, Pete Dunne, which was a great match. And I'm just saying that I couldn't put that on the list if we were gonna put Cesaro and Sami Zayn. I wouldn't. I like Tyler Bate, Pete Dunne, but
yo, after this, I want you to go back and watch that within this week and tell me that was not a great match.
No, it was. I have it.
I'm saying top 10.
Yeah, I want it to be on my list, but I'm saying if you were gonna say no to Sami Zayn and Cesaro, then I wasn't putting Tyler Bate up on the list.
No, so here's the problem. Sami Zayn, I felt like having 2 matches wasn't worth it. So I'm sitting here and I'm like, well, which match is better between the two? And I really was struggling to going back and forth. But we remember that Cesaro one stands out in all of our minds for some reason. So I think as a collective unit deciding on this, I think it had to make it.
Woo! We got 2 matches left that we're going to decide about. Undisputed Era, Mustache Mountain, or Johnny Gargano and Ricochet are the last 2 matches. There's only 1 spot. So let's just have a vote. We'll go ahead. We'll go through and have a vote. And whatever comes out unanimous, we're gonna have to make it. I love both matches. I do think the Undisputed Era and Mustache Mountain match. I think this was the Undisputed Era's best tag team match for their takeover matches. And Johnny Gargano and Ricochet was another great match. Told a great story. Like I said, I love the finish when he did the DDT and like kind of like the little. It looked like he had that relief in his face. Like yes, finally I'm gonna get it. Like. I'm gonna finally get the title. So, oh my god, if I had to pick between one though, man. Oh my gosh, dude. If I had to pick between one, dude, I think I'm leaning more towards the tag team match, man. I'm sorry, but I think I like the tag team match a little bit better.
And for me, I'm going Gargano Ricochet for the title. Gargano having his moment, that being one of the centerpieces of moments for NXT for him winning a championship. I would say that is my vote to get the final spot. I think it's deserving. I really think it should be on a list, especially we have a list here of top 10 matches of NXT of all time, and what are matches that have those notable moments. And I think for Johnny Gargano specifically, that was his moment in NXT.
So with the Conrad now, he's gonna have to make the final vote.
Yo, don't do this to me, man. Like I knew.
Now think about before you pick. Think about let's go through the matches again. So, Undisputed Era and Mustache Mountain was a great match from start to finish. Told a great story. I love everything about the match. And obviously, I think most of us knew that. I didn't think Mustache Mountain was gonna win. Me personally, I didn't think they were gonna win. But there were points in the match where I thought they could. Oh my god, they might actually win the title. Like they might pull it off. And the back and forth, with the British, strong style going in with the Undisputed Era and stuff like that, dude. The match was just so perfect, dude. The chemistry was so great. It was really, really good stuff. Tyler Bate is a beast. He's an absolute beast. Undisputed Era is great as well as Trent 7. But then you got Johnny Gargano and Ricochet. Also told a great story from start to finish with the whole. This is when Johnny Gargano was doing his little heel stuff. I think Ricochet did about 100 flips in this match. I'm thinking he did like flips after flips after flips. I mean, he was doing flips out on the outside of the ring, inside of the ring, off the barricades. I mean, he was doing so many flips in this match. It was crazy. And the finish of the match to me was the best part of the match. I really loved the finish of the DDT and the whole relief on Johnny Gargano's face. He votes Johnny and Ricochet. I vote the Undisputed Era Mustache Mountain match. I think that match was. I like that match better to me. I think I like that match better.
Right, I understand that. And for me, it was about the history of NXT. When I went with Gargano and Ricochet for his moment, for that story, for him finally winning, winning that individual championship, being Ricochet, the crowd reaction he got from it, all of it all combined, leading up to the match itself, I think it's deserving to be that final spot.
Oh, he put the pressure on me with that. Now, I swear to you, a moment ago, like if you would have asked me, like right before Malik was talking about all that, I would have definitely been like, Steve, I'm with you. After some thoughts and consideration, and you bringing up the story, how much did that NXT North American title win matter to the story now, looking at it?
Yeah, because he only had it for not too long.
And I just don't think that it was really good, very well done, but we got to show some love. That was a 5-star match. That was a damn good match. You know what? Give it to the boys. Give it to the Undisputed Era. Where's the belt so I can tune up the guitar? I got to go Undisputed Era. Malik convinced me, man. Steve, you did a good argument too, man. Like I'm still, if I had to like give it points, this was like tenths of a point from being different.
Right. Yeah, because from your thought there, I know you already made the vote, but I think for me, why I was so strong for that one was because of maybe not the story after when he won the championship, but a story leading up to that, and him being like successful so often and trying to and finally getting that moment. Yeah, maybe he didn't have that long of a run with it, but his lead up to it too, then finally gaining the championship or gaining a championship of singles. Really, for him in NXT, I think is why I was fighting so strong for that match.
And I think it made Tommaso Ciampa look like the puppet master. I think it more enhanced his character throughout it because he got Gargano to do all the heelish things like, ha ha ha, I finally have you, you know. And I consider him like the Freddy Krueger of all this. Like, he's the bad guy that's like, no one can stop me. I've got this guy wrapped around my finger. I know exactly how to play him. He was my best friend at one point.
All those mentions right there, guys. All that mentions. These are all the mentions right there in that little section. This was hard as F, dude. I mean, there's so many matches that can easily be on Takeover. But let's go over the list, the top 10, so we can agree on the official list. When I say the names, when I say the list of names, I want you to say yes or no, so we can have it official. Sasha Banks versus Bayley, Takeover Brooklyn.
Yes.
Yes.
Shinsuke Nakamura versus Sami Zayn, Takeover Dallas.
Hell yes.
Yes.
DIY versus Revival, 2 out of 3 falls, Takeover Toronto.
Hell yeah.
Yes, sir.
Andrade Cien Almas versus Johnny Gargano, Takeover Philadelphia.
Yes.
People creamed their pants for that match. Yeah.
The 6-man ladder match for Takeover New Orleans.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Johnny Gargano versus Tommaso Ciampa, Takeover New Orleans.
Goat.
Yes.
Sasha versus Becky versus Bayley versus Charlotte. I don't remember the Takeover name, but it was a Takeover on one of the first ones. I think it was Takeover like under something like that. This one, what do you guys think about this Fatal 4-Way?
Yes.
Yes.
Sami Zayn versus Cesaro, Takeover Arrival, the first Takeover.
Yes.
Yes.
Classic.
Tyler Bate, Pete Dunne, Takeover Chicago.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Undisputed Era versus Mustache Mountain, Takeover
Yes.
Brooklyn 4.
Yes.
Woo! Man, this is I can go back and watch all 10 of these matches right now if I want to in a row. So this is a solid list. I'm cool with the list. We had a lot of mentions on this list. I mean, so many mentions that were considered. I mean, there were a lot of Johnny Gargano matches we didn't put on here, a lot of Sami Zayn matches we didn't put on here. Just imagine if we got Sami Zayn versus Johnny Gargano at TakeOver when they were in NXT at the same time.
Imagine, dude, I think there would be more matches for both of them if it just didn't feel like we were putting them on so much. Like at one point I was like, dude, we're putting Gargano on here a lot, but he deserves it.
Right, exactly. I feel the same way. So I mean,
Sami Zayn too. He was on there a lot of times. Think of how many times we mentioned him.
Sami Zayn is on here. I think he's on here twice. He made the list. He made 2 matches. He only the Nakamura match and the Cesaro match is on here. And then Johnny Gargano made the list twice as well with the Tommaso Ciampa match and the Andrade Cien Almas match. I think that's fair. Just 2 matches for the guys for the top 10 list. They took 4 spots on the list. We can't just put, like I said, Sami Zayn and Neville could have been on the list easily. Johnny Gargano and Ricochet could have made the list easily.
And Johnny Gargano and Tommaso and the other 2 that we cut should have easily been on that list. But
Johnny Gargano, even Aleister Black, that could have made the list too. That was a great match. So I mean, and Sami Zayn had a lot of good matches in NXT too. So I mean, there are a lot of considerations, but I mean, I'm cool with this list. I'm happy with the list. I'm cool with it. You guys all right with it? You guys cool with it?
I'm cool, but like you said, I think after the next takeover, or if you ask me again tomorrow, I think we would have a few different matches on there every time. Or if it was a different group.
No question. I mean, I want to come back. I'm gonna mark today's date. What is today's date? March 16th.
Happy Stone Cold Day, boys.
I'm gonna put the date on. I'm gonna put the date on here. And we're gonna
just look how much the NXT Takeover shows improve each and every time.
We're gonna come back. We're gonna come back to this.
I agree, Steve.
I put the date on here for today, and we're gonna come back to this list later on this year, and we're gonna see if we're gonna substitute any of these matches out here because there's a lot of good matches. So far, I'm cool with all these matches. These are all great matches. There are some that I believe there's like Sasha Bayley was unanimous, had to be on the list for me. I was gonna fight for that one to be on the list. Sami Zayn Cesaro, I was gonna fight for that one. And the ladder match. Those are the 3 I had in my head. And the Tommaso Ciampa and Johnny Gargano match. Those are the 4 I had in my head that had to be on the list for me. So I'm cool with the list. I'm fine with the list. I'm happy with it. This was probably one of the harder ones, man. This is like a really tough one that we had because all these takeovers are so good. It's like you don't want to cut some of these matches out, but you got to do it. We only got 10 spots, so I'm good with the list. I am going to be doing another debate next week. My last wrestling debate I'm going to be doing for a while. Next week debate is going to be top 10 dream matches that never happened. I have a list of dream matches that I put together that I thought are really good, and we're gonna debate on the matches that we're gonna put in for 10. I mentioned more. I mentioned some superstars. I mentioned more than one. So I put Shawn Michaels down. Shawn Michaels can have a match. Great match with a lot of people that he even have with Stone Cold Steve Austin. Same way, Macho Man, Randy Savage, Bret Hart. Those guys I put down more than once for a lot of great matches they could have with a lot of people, especially nowadays. So make sure you guys tune in next week for that, 4 p.m. same time. I'm gonna let you guys put out their social medias, their channels. You guys go follow them. We'll start with Conrad, and then we'll go with Steve. Make sure you guys go follow, subscribe to their stuff, guys, and check your stuff
out. First and foremost, before I even say anything about myself, I wanted to wish my man Kyron a happy birthday. Also, a shout out to my man Mounties Corner. I know he was going through some stuff this week, so just want to let him know. Here for you, bro. You guys can find me on Twitter at EPW Show. Make sure you guys check out the channel and content. Also on YouTube, you guys can click my name, subscribe. I have 308 subscribers right now, looking to get as many as I can. So if you can help me get to that 500 mark or that 1,000 mark, I greatly appreciate it. Also, podcast. I'm on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Anchor, Podbean, wherever you guys are looking for that stuff. Type in everything pro wrestling, and you'll find me. And thank you very much.
Oh, sorry. Same message that Cameron shared. The Mounties Corner. Glad to hear good news there. Happy 19th birthday to our boy Kyron. Find him on Twitter, /Kyron. But for me, you can find me on Twitter at @TheRamble_WWE. My YouTube channel, youtube.com/user.complete08 at 284 subscribers. Getting close to 300. Maybe we get there before WrestleMania. But yeah, definitely can hit me up on Instagram and on Snapchat as well at StevieK_06. Thank you for having me on.
All right, guys. Make sure you guys tune in next week to the show. Next week's show I think is gonna be really good. After that, I'll be doing some non-WWE stuff. I know next week I'm gonna be doing, like I said, top 10 greatest WWE matches that never happened, and then I'm gonna be doing top 10 NBA greatest NBA players of all time. And then I'm gonna do one for the NFL after that one too. So make sure you guys tune into those. I'm also doing one for Disney too, because I know a lot of people like my Disney stuff. So I'm doing one for Disney, Nickelodeon. I'm gonna do a bunch of stuff like top 10 stuff. So we're gonna be debating a lot of top 10 stuff. So make sure you guys go check out their stuff. And I appreciate you guys being my guest. It's always a pleasure doing some stuff. I got some more projects that I'm working on coming soon too. So make sure you guys go subscribe to the channel. Appreciate you guys being on my channel, man.